Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything is working. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, with co-host Will. Hello, Will.
Up.
All right, so let us know if everything's working on your end. Also, let us know how that like button's working these days. give it a good old polish before we start this one off. If you enjoy your host here on Local Game Group. But Will, how's your day?
It's been good. It's been good for the most part.
You can say it. You want to say smash that like button? You can
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
me.
I was gonna say that. Smash that like button, click that bell, turn on notifications so that whenever we start up a stream, you'll be able to join us.
That's right. Even if the stream is just a little late, thank you for bearing with me. I got home very, very late. It was not on my agenda. But we're here, we're good, and we're going to be talking about Ashling Flame Dancer. It's all but confirmed. So if you're looking on, a regular spoils site, it's technically a leak. You won't find it on, say, something like Scryfall. But I do have a copy of Ashling up. If you want to follow along with Ashling Flame Dancer, our deck tech today, you can do so by clicking the link in the description and join us over on Tapped Out, where we'll be building the list. We obviously have a stand-in for Ashling because of the very fact that she's not quite playable yet. But this whole set has been really good. I feel like these last few sets have had real bangers in them. And so far, Modern Horizons 3 hasn't let us Commander players down. Will, feelings on the set so far?
There are already a lot of new staples. We got the Winter Moon. We got Null Elemental Blast. We have White of Reclamation. We have Chthonian Nightmare. We have so many things that are just like, oh look, they made a reserve list card that's banned, legal, and maybe better than it was before.
Yeah, what was the Nightmare card called again?
Chthonian Nightmare. That's the new Dockside Loop card. It's the energy equivalent of Recurring Nightmare.
Yeah,
And then we have the card that I think Patrick has recently fallen in love with, Urza's Cave.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good card. I have Chthonian Nightmare on the screen for you guys. You can tell, they're retooling older cards like they do. I think that's what you do. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That card was broke, though, and I guess they tried to fix it, but...
Let's fix it by making it cost one less, but you can only reanimate small creatures. Who cares?
Right,
if I can pay 2 to use Unearth over and over and over again, if I can give Unearth, buy back 1 generic, I'm playing Unearth.
Well, we're talking about this as Commander players, but do you think other formats are going to care about this as much as we do?
Yeah. I think
sure?
Chthonian Nightmare might be like a decent thing for Vintage or Legacy for some weird reanimator thing. I don't think it's going to be like the creme de la creme or anything like that, but I think it's going to be a deck.
But yeah, can we just talk about the generic producing land, I should say colorless producing land, Urza's Cave that Will just brought up?
Yeah.
This is stupid. It's dumb because it puts Myriad Landscape and all those other cute lands that like wanna, fetch a color, put on the battlefield. Nah, screw that. What is that really good land you use? Yeah, put the guy's Cradle down. What is that? Oh, that's Sarah's Sanctum you just bought? You fool. You're never going to play Pearlier. You're never going to play Pearlier.
Don't worry, you're probably playing Sithis in the very near future whenever we retool that deck, because I think Sithis is going to be a monster.
I 100% agree. I really do agree, and I'm glad I have Sarah's Sanctum for that. And I'm not going to put Guy's Cradle in that list, because I just don't own one right now. But yes, I do promote proxies. Play with a proxy. But no, Urza's Cave's amazing. There's so many good cards from this new set, and so many good legendaries. They've been pumping out legendaries, I mean, for ages now, but in mass at this moment. Like, there's so many legendaries in this set. There's so many legendaries with each occurring set, and clearly they care about us. They care about us Commander players, because we got this new card. I'm over on Reddit. I'm usually not over here, but we're here today. This is Ashling Flame Dancer. It's on a few sites. I don't know if this is where it broke, but this was the top most linked image, and we can take a look at her now before we get into this. Our stand-in for Ashling's not nearly as good. Ashling the Pilgrim. It's fine. It's a cool card. Definitely easier to put on the battlefield. But Ashling Flame Dancer, Will, 2 generic double red elemental shaman, 4/4 body. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. That's just really
Pretty
good,
good.
right? Because there's a lot of rituals in red where they don't always make the most sense in your list. What is it? Calamity's Wake, or what is the one that makes you like 8 mana, but it's like you get to
It's
cast.
Ironcrag Feat.
Right. There's a few crazy ones where it's like, well, I'm never really going to leverage this well, at least in a commander setting. Well, now you practically can, depending on which way we take this. But there's so many rituals in this color that if you make excess mana, you don't need to worry about it. And speaking of excess mana, she actually makes excess mana. Magecraft. Whenever you this ability has never been broken. Whenever you cast her, I mean, I don't know. Like Witherbloom Apprentice is still like a go-to A+B with Chain of Smog. And what is the Chain of Smog equivalent in red?
It's Commander Storm, I think, is what it's called. I'll find it, but
there's I think there's an older card, like I think there was a cycle of those freebie spells. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. At any rate, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, discard a card, then draw a card. So it's not as good as a loot, but it's a rummage. And I do actually prefer this. We've been seeing a lot of impulse draw from red recently. This is actually beneficial, though, that we discard and draw, because we might be able to do some loops with this, which we're trying to do that today. If this is the second time you've used this ability, or this ability is resolved, Ashling Flame Dancer deals 2 damage to each opponent. That's only happens once. But you're going to just peg them. If it's the third time, add 4 red mana. So, Will, thoughts on the ability? You know,
yeah. So
good?
first, I found the card.
Yeah,
Fury Storm. Fury Storm is 2 red for an instant that says cast. When you cast the spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. You may choose new targets for the copies, and then the effect is copy target instant or sorcery. You may choose new targets for the copy. The reason why this is a 2-card combo or a 1-card combo with Ashling is you play Ashling. Anyone plays an instant or sorcery, Fury Storm, copy Fury Storm. The original targets your opponent's thing. The copy targets Fury Storm, which creates another, which copies Fury Storm, which creates another. Repeat.
Right.
So it's a 1-card fork combo.
Yeah, it's pretty solid with Ashling. Obviously, we're only going to get the ping, and we're only going to get the 4 mana the one time. I don't know if we have an instant speed win necessarily baked into this list, but if we've got this looping on the stack, I'm pretty sure we can figure that out. It's important to note that you're not going positive in hand size either, so you will be looking for a few core cards, and we can discuss those in a bit. You can't fork or reverberate, but Will, what do you think is the best plan for Ashling here?
I think the best plan is to run pretty much every single copy, target spell, instant, and sorcery that we can run, even kind of dual caster mage, so that we can try to get the Magecraft loop going. And then I did the math on it, where if we have no cards in hand, we can win the game with... Or sorry, if we have no mana to use, we can win the game with 3 cards in hand after we start the loop, because we'll make 4 mana off of Ashling, 1 mana from Simeon Spirit Guide, and then we can use... I'll pull up the card right now, because it's a really, really weird card that I love that no one else talks about ever. Where is it? It is Invoke Calamity, which is 1 generic, red for an instant that says, you may cast up to 2 instant and or sorcery spells from your graveyard with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or from your hand without paying their mana cost. If those spells would be put into the graveyard, exile them instead, and then exile Invoke Calamity. The reason why this is really good is you're pitching cards into your graveyard, and then you pitch bonus round, or you pitch bonus round and then any ritual at some point, then you invoke Calamity to recast both of those. Bonus round makes it so that you double all instant and sorcery spells that you play, and then in any ritual is any ritual, you just get a little bit of mana. Then all of your loot effects and all of your rituals will let you be able to generate infinite mana. If you're still copying spells with the fork effect, you can discard a Shuffle Titan to shuffle back into your deck, and you can loop through your deck infinite times, netting cards over time, giving you infinite cards in hand until you use your infinite mana from infinite rituals to bolt your opponents to death. That is the hard way of doing things. The easy way of doing things is you just have a ton of mana off of Ashling, and then you just start drawing through your deck, play any outlet, and then you try to win the game with that, because you can easily set up an infinite mana combo with your deck in your hand.
Well, your deck between your hand and your grave, I suppose. And there's Underworld Breach, it still does exist. So, like, if we wanted to just do that, we could very well do that. Mono Red's got a lot going for it. The only thing it doesn't really have is consistent draw utilities. But when this came up, I kind of was talking to Will about how this almost like a Stellarly vibe, where it just has a lot of cards that complement it well in its given colors. And it is producing not only card quality, not necessarily advantage, but is also giving us I wish an outlet for damage here, but ramp by and by, which is really great. And then it has that static effect. Again, they're really pushing these cards these days, and I think this one's fairly pushed. And in a commander setting, I think it could be fairly consistent as a mono red CDH commander, and probably fun in a casual setting. But we're gonna brew a CEDH today, guys and gals. But on that note, I think we're probably ready to start officially with this deck build. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, before we start, we can go over some of the cards that have been leaked that we haven't had a chance to go over, because there's a lot that are interesting, but we can give like the quick 2 cents on like the ones we thought were cool.
Yeah, here, wait, you know what? I'm recording this now.
Nice. Oh, that's smart.
Why not?
You mean I'm gonna have to give my 1-paragraph thesis on how you win the game with no mana and Ashling again?
Try to make it sub 60 seconds, I guess.
I mean, if you want, I really could. But
well, yeah, actually, that would be fun. Speed run,
All
Ashling.
right.
But give me the sorry, not now. But what? Well, let's mention 3 new cards from the set, and then we can jump into this one.
All right.
The 3 most notable.
Yeah, there's probably, I think there might be like only 4 or 5 that are really notable that have come out recently. So if we want to just cover those like 4 to 5, that could be fine, because they're just interesting cards that could be really good.
Yeah.
First one is Warren Soul Trader, and it is 2 and a black for a 3/3 zombie goblin wizard that says pay 1 life, sacrifice a creature, and make a treasure. It's Phyrexian Altar, but you have to pay life to use it. But it's also a zombie, and a goblin, and a wizard, and a creature, so it's easy to tutor and easy to recur.
Where are you looking at these? MTG spoilers?
Yeah, MTG spoilers. They have a tab for leaks. If you just go to the set, it'll be kind of right under the title of the set.
Mythic spoiler?
No, just MTG spoiler. Or sorry, Magic spoiler. So go to Magic spoiler, and then you can click Modern Horizon 3, and then there's a little tab that says leaks. I see it on your screen right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for it.
No, sorry. Go to Magic spoiler, click on the Modern Horizons 3 tab on the top.
Variants? Oh, leaks.
Yeah, there you go. You found it.
Okay, gotcha.
So going back to it, the Warren Soul Trader, which is the new Phyrexian Altar. Which, by the way, I want to point out, how the crap can you use Magic, trade and steal the souls of people to fuel your power, and not be a freaking warlock? You're a wizard. What kind of like ethical soul stealing is this?
It's a little weird. Maybe this goblin just couldn't find a proper warlock to train them, so they tutored under a wizard. I don't know, Will.
This is like the embodiment of chaotic good. It's like, well, I may be stealing the souls of people and jamming them to eternal hell, but I gave them the correct compensation.
Yeah.
They wanted 5 gold, I gave them 5 gold. I just took their soul.
Soul Trader's pretty sick, dude. I for some reason thought you had to tap Soul Trader for that. It's a lot better than I realized.
Yeah, it's just an easier to find Phyrexian Altar, which means that you can do a lot of combos a little bit easier.
All right, what's the next one, sir?
I like it. Next one is Wrath of the Skies, which this is like a holy crap new white removal spell. So it's X white for sorcery. You get X energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy and destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments with mana value X or with mana value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid this way. This is just Gaze of Granite, but mono white. And it costs 1 less pip. Lord, this is actually really playable.
Get X energy, then you may pay any amount of energy, destroy. That's kind of sick. If you had any strategy, and like energy is becoming a little bit more relevant, we saw a little bit from Fallout, and we're seeing a lot of it here. So this is kind of cool for stockpiling, right? You could go excessive and then only destroy what you need to destroy. This is kind of cool. I mean, and like Will said, it's just, power creep. It's just better. It's just better thing. Why not use better thing?
Indeed, 'tis better thing. And to give like a little bit of coverage on two commanders that have potential, but I don't know how well they're going to be. Imsker Iron Eater, which is just a creature with affinity for artifacts. ETB, draw equal to half the number of artifacts you control and lose that much life, and you can sack artifacts to deal damage. Probably good at just constantly replaying it and drawing a ton of cards. We have 6, which is retrace for all non-land permanents in your graveyard, but you can only cast them on your turn, and draws you lands.
I think we do that next, because I love retrace as an effect, and there are some retrace combos, but they're very convoluted. But when you give anything that's non-land permanent retrace, again, just so you guys know, you need to discard a card, specifically a land from your hand, to be able to cast the card for its retrace cost, which is it's mana value here. Yeah, this is really gross. I mean, obviously you're mono green, so you're somewhat limited, but I don't know. I'm excited to try.
I don't know how good it is, just because it's gonna be a lot of hoops to jump through to make it work. I looked at it, and initially I was like, holy crap, tier 0 green commander. Then I read, permanent.
No, I wish.
Crap.
Yeah, I wish. There's a lot of ways to bounce lands back to your hand, though, and like play lands onto the field, in green specifically. But again, it's a lot of the ways are convoluted.
I was looking for a permanent that returns all lands from your graveyard to your hand to do a loop that way, but I don't think there is one yet.
There's certainly some non-permanents that do that.
Yeah. Oh, there's several. But next, Spymaster's Vault. This continues the cycle of one of the cards that was also leaked of this enters the battlefield if you control a swamp. In the other case, it was an island. It taps for a black, and this one says, pay a black, tap it, target creature you control connives X, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. This is a lot of hand fixing and just a massive stupid card. I will say, if somebody's doing a Leonin Relic Warder loop, this is your out to stop them, because you can draw your entire deck or draw as many cards as you want in response to their Leonin loop. So this card's just really dumb for hand fixing there. It can kind of counter some strategies. It's just an untapped land, and it can make one of your creatures pretty massive while fixing your hand throughout the game.
It's good. It's an outlet land.
Yeah. It's good
because we needed that.
Yeah, it's an outlet land with basically no downside.
No, I mean, other than it being a slow land if you don't control another swamp, but it's usually not going to be the first land you play unless you're just that unlucky. And if you're in a multicolored deck, it's less likely you'll want to run this. So I think you're probably stopping this at 2 to 3 colors tops, but you never know.
Yeah, and the last card is a card that was spoiled today, and it is Eladamri, Corvidal? Corvidal. Eladamri Corvidal.
That sounds about right.
Close enough. Legendary creature, elf warrior. I'm going to be calling him Eladamri from here on out anyways, so no one's going to be offended about my stupidity outside of hearing it that one time.
What was that last name again?
No. Legendary creature, elf warrior, 3 power, 3 toughness. Look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library, and you can pay a green, tap to untap creatures you control, reveal a card from your hand or from the top of your library, and if it was a creature, put it onto the battlefield, only activate on your turn. Elf ball, but also elf tall.
Yeah. God, this guy's got some elf balls, let me tell you. I don't know, as soon as I saw this, I immediately looked, creatures, green commander. What do we have? What can we do? And nothing immediately came to me, because honestly, mono green, while it does have big dumb creatures, a majority of the big dumb creatures have, this creature costs X less if you do this with your hands. And then like, okay, it has trample and has this other effects. There are obviously some good big dumb creatures, especially the one you use in Sisaya. What's its name?
Yeah, Cultivator Colossus.
That's one I want to drop. All the untap effects, all the untap effects. There's so many damned untap effects in green. Not to mention like Wirewood symbiote lines and stuff like that. You can very easily untap the shit out of this deck.
Well, I think you're also forgetting the best untap effect that you can run in this deck, which combos really easily. Great Oak Guardian, ETB, untap all of your creatures and give them +2/+2. Which with Temur Sabertooth is just +infinity, and also put your hand into play.
You might need to drop a Nyx Bloom agent beforehand or something, but it's okay. You'll get there.
I mean, you're either dropping a Nyx Bloom or Regal Force to draw your entire deck.
Is it Nyx Bloom or Nyx Bloom? I think it's Nyx Bloom.
It's Nyx Bloom.
But the same wavelength. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of good shit.
But Regal Force is going to be the really dumb one, because it's like, oh yeah, draw for every green creature you control when you're playing your every creature from the top of your deck from here into infinity.
So, how many creatures do you run in this list?
As many as you can get away with.
Right. I think you'll need at least Lycolus's Quick Reflexes.
Yeah.
I don't know. The list of like staple green cards is small. But honestly, this is something, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, we should probably do this on the channel. It's going to be stupid. I feel like it has the potential to be very stupid.
You said 6 was going to be the next one. Nah, Eladamri is going to be the next one.
Well, I mean, initially, until who spoiled it? Someone on our Discord spoiled it, and I'm like, God, that just seems so cracked. It seems so good. And speaking of the Discord, guys, if you want to join the Discord, there is a link in the description. But on that note, I think we can talk more about this set. I think this set deserves a real proper set review. So hang tight for a legendary tier list for Monster Hunter 3. Every time I see MH, I think Monster Hunter. Every time I see MH, I think Monster Hunter. Lagiacrus, my favorite of the monsters. At any rate, welcome to Local Game Group. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and I'm joined by co-host Will. Hey, Will.
What's up?
And today we'll be discussing, and not only that, brewing for Ashling Flame Dancer. We've covered this in the show before the show. It's a 4 CMC legendary that was leaked for Monster Hunter 3, and we're going to be using a stand-in with Ashling the Pilgrim for this legend. Let's go. Will, give us the lowdown for what we want to do with Ashling Flame Dancer, and be sure to make it under 60 seconds.
Well, I'll give the I'll give the whole lowdown. So time to do this in 60 seconds. The main idea of Ashling is if you use 2 fork effects, you can be able to copy the first fork effect with the second one, looting through your entire deck with your Magecraft ability. The fun part with Ashling is if you have 3 cards in hand and no open mana, you can use Ashling's effect to get 4 mana, looting through your entire deck until you hit Simian Spirit Guide, ditch 2 specific cards into your graveyard, being bonus round at any ritual, and then you can use the 5 mana that you have to cast Calamity's Wake or Calamity's Invocation, or Invoke Calamity, which then lets you recast those 2 cards I named from the graveyard, and then you can cast your entire deck, draw your entire deck, and use a Shuffle Titan to keep going over and over and over again and win with 2 billion bolts.
And all of this with just the mana for a copy effect?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and on that, what do you want to add to the list first?
Well, to start off, all of the reverberate and fork and everything effects.
I might need to very quickly copy target.
Yeah, don't worry, I can read off all of them for you. I've pulled it up already.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll have this here just regardless, and if we want to look over this, and what Will's referring to are the forks of the world, but if he's got a list for me, let's make it easy.
Well, I looked it up same as you, but I just have it already pre-organized to make
quickly,
it easier.
Our land base is a copy-paste from a nearly 100% winning Zada list.
Deck. It's threatened to win every single game, and it's won, I think, half of them.
So you can kind of ignore it. We're going to make some alterations to this list as we go along. I don't think it needs a Urza's Cave, but it probably doesn't need a Sandstone Needle. Although it could probably use Sandstone. Okay, anyway, hit me.
Alright, well, to start off, we have Reverberate.
Not the classic fork, huh?
Oh, we'll get to fork. I'm just doing it in EDH rec order.
Oh, got you.
EDH we have
rec ordered. God, it's just kidding.
Yeah. Increase Vengeance.
Yeah, there's not enough vengeance in this room.
We must increase it.
Can we dial that to 11 really quick?
Then we have Reiterate.
Ooh, I like Reiterate a lot. What's up there for me?
Then we have Twinferno, which is copy when you cast your next instant or sorcery, you copy it, and it's good enough for our
What's
purposes.
a generic and a blue? A rap generic and a blue. Generic and a red. Okay, Twinferno. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used this, but good call. You also get double strike. Don't forget, target creature gets double strike.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Then we have Wild Ricochet, an oldie but a goodie.
Right, and thank you, Wolfsbane, for mentioning Wild Ricochet. It's a little bit more costly, but I think it gets cost reduced.
No, it redirects
No.
a target spell and then it copies it.
That's right. That's right.
Then we have Storm King's Thunder, which is basically just another Wild Ricochet, except instead of ricocheting, it's just pay X, copy a spell X times.
Yeah, not to steal the Storm King's Thunder, Wild Ricochet. You're still fine.
Then one card that isn't a fork effect, but is kind of a fork effect and is a combo card for the deck, Bonus Round.
Oh, I put Dualcaster Mage in when you said that, but...
Oh yeah, Dualcaster goes into. Dualcaster is functionally the same thing.
And Twin Flame and Heat Shimmer.
Why are you adding Heat Shimmer? We got Molten Duplication, Patrick. Why not all three?
What? Oh, we did just get Molten Duplication.
We got the better one.
I mean, we're going to use all of them.
Yeah.
Molten...
Because why not? We're in red, and we want Dualcaster Mage. Yeah. We're running the Dualcaster combos.
Yo, if you haven't seen Molten Duplication, you're going to shit yourself. No, it's a good card. It's a really good card. Sorry, that's Ashling. Okay.
And you added Bonus Round, correct?
I did. Yes, Wolfsbane mentioned it. I brought it into the deck. I adopted it as one of our own. I like
Indeed. Then we have the best fork effect for the deck, Fury Storm.
It is pretty good. And really just for this list, I mean, I can't think of another one that wants it.
Yeah, it's any Magecraft deck, but this is like the Magecraft deck.
Yeah.
Repeating Reverberation. This is 4 mana when you cast your next instant spell, or cast a sorcery spell or activate a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker, copy it twice.
Ooh.
We have Display of Power, one of the most underrated red interaction pieces, which is now combo piece for us. Can't be copied. Copy any number of target instant and or sorcery spells. You may choose new targets for the copy. Basically, win any counterspell war.
The spell can't be copied.
Yeah, so it has to be the last one that you play, so it can copy your other fork effect, and that fork will copy nah. And speaking of fork.
Mm-hmm. Does Chef's Kiss tickle your fancy?
Chef's Kiss does not copy spells, or at least it doesn't copy spells that target spells. It only does ones that target permanents or players. So Chef's Kiss does not work. I wish it did. It's a very cool card.
It's not the Chef's Kiss, is what you're saying.
Indeed, it does not. It's a combo card in a lot of decks, but it's not for this one.
Did you say Hell of the Horde yet?
I don't think I got down there yet.
When you cast your next instant sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets with a copy. Yeah. Wait,
it does it.
Well, or are you... how many more do you have to go through, I guess?
I have Dual Strike, which is when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell with mana value 4 or less, copy that spell, choose new targets for the copy, and it has Foretell. Then Return the Favor.
Yeah, I was about to go to that one. Yeah, this is a new one. And yes, we'll use it. Oh my god, I'm going to close that tab.
Then Double Cast. And then Howl of the Horde. Got it.
All over it, sir.
Nice.
All right, that's a shit ton of copy a thing. You say Pyromancer's Ascension? What have you guys said? Nope, that doesn't work. It's like a Rite of Flame for the deck. Okay. We Finale of Promise here?
We could add Finale of Promise because it does kind of do the thing by itself if we get it to its higher cost.
So we could definitely use dual casting. There needs to be something on the stack regardless of what we're doing. So
yeah,
dual casting's really good.
Yeah, because we can just put it on our commander and it just works.
Right. Oh, and you said double cast already. Mirror
Yeah,
pool, copy target, insert sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. I think we play mirror pool in the deck. Mirror pool's a land.
yeah,
I
it's
like
fine.
it's
And we can
we're
take
mono
out the
red.
we can take out the Den of the Bugbear, I think, from our land base because that's more to make tokens for Zada. Which, by the way, the land base is a Zada land base. I can't remember if we explicitly said that. I think we referred to it. Um,
No, we did. You're good
okay.
though. That's probably it though, so far as like other alternative copy the thing effects that we didn't touch on. Although we could use Sword of Wealth and Power, Will. Oh, whenever you cast your next insert sorcery spell, copy that spell.
We could because that is a decent way to protect Ashling. Actually,
Yeah, so Red Spectre, it's definitely more of a turbo deck. I mean, we're going to try to get there as quickly as possible, so yeah, I'd say we're doing turbo things.
oh,
Um,
one card we may want to add that I forgot to mention: Krark the Thumbless.
would we want to add him? I mean, the
Because
card
what
goes back to our hand, right?
Yeah, and that's just going to build up Magecraft, but then if we win, we copy our fork and then we do the whole thing. So it's just kind of another fork effect. It's just on a coin flip.
I'm in the middle of making Eris, Roar of the Storm, and I'm already thinking of cheating with the new Ashling. Gotta stop. Oh. The new Ashling's kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm a fan. But we'll see how well it actually performs today, with your help, obviously. And again, I forgot to say that little preamble at the start of this, but guys, the point of doing these live is so that, Will and I can enjoy ourselves, but also to get your input on the deck. So if you have any thoughts or opinions or any tech you want to see in the list, feel free to share it with us so we can make a better version of this list. But carry on. Sort of Wealth and Power. I mean, again, I it's maybe good enough.
It's redundancy, it's protection, it's a little bit of mana production. It's okay. I
You're
don't hate it.
protected from instants and sorceries. I mean,
That's just
obviously,
removal. Protection from removal.
right. Obviously, this doesn't stop someone from breaking the sword, but it's still quite good.
Oh,
Damn.
also, card we probably want, Bloodthirsty Advisor. I keep forgetting that this card exists, and it's pretty good. It is a 1 and a red for a 2/2 with haste, ETB. You may pay, basically multi-kicker, ETB multi-kicker. For each time that you kicked it, you may put a that many +1/+1 counters on it, and then cast that many instant or sorcery spells from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less, and exile them if they would if they would be put into the graveyard. But yeah, you can just cast all those spells from grave for free. Actually, does it exile them? Yeah, it's exile them and then
To that many targets to sorcery.
yeah, it's copy. It's exile them and you can cast copies of them.
Still
And
does the
since
thing.
Ashling's floating our mana, so we have the mana to use it.
Well, I'm wondering how many of these effects do we have? I think I mentioned Finale of Promise as a way to copy things from the grave. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we may also want Mizzix's Mastery. Finale Promise and Mizzix's Mastery are two ways of doing it.
Right. Where's Mizzix's Mastery? It's a little bit more expensive, right? Where is it?
Yeah, it's 4 mana to play it initially, and then 8 mana to overload it, I believe.
Are those the only two that do this nowadays? Aren't there more like Finale of Promise style effects, or am I making that up? I guess we could run a Past and Flame as well if we really wanted to just get it back.
There are a ton of creatures that let you cast stuff from graveyard during combat in red, but not like recast a bunch of things at once, I don't believe. We do have Underworld Breach though. And we are looting whenever we cast stuff, so Breach is kind of perfect for the deck.
Yeah, we're gonna add Underworld Breach for sure. Sort of whop. I'm talking whop. That's some wealth and power.
And you added Invoke Calamity into the deck, correct?
How about Scythe of the Wretched to steal all our opponent's creatures? Did I invoke Calamity? No.
Yep, that's the weird red spell that works with the combo.
It's like the only way to do it if you're have no mana.
It allows you to cast sorceries at instant speed, up to 2 sorceries at instant speed. That's the reason why we have it, and it lets us cast from graveyard. It's also another effect that is basically finale.
I'm sorry if you guys can hear that banging, by the way. I'm not really sure what my neighbors are doing. I hope it's their head against the wall, but you can only hope for so much. How about Scythe further? I don't know, man. I need to look up Scythe.
Scythe is fun, but Scythe is not good. Scythe of the Wretched, if I'm remembering this correctly, whenever the equipped creature deals damage and kills an opponent's creature, you reanimate that creature on your board and equip Scythe of the Wretched to it. So with Ashling, when we get the second trigger, we kill a bunch of stuff and steal all of it.
Have you heard of Mox Ruby? Maybe we should try
Man,
that
yeah, why
card.
are people not running that card?
Do you want to use... okay, so we've got rituals to talk about. I think Braid of Fire is a really good card in this list.
Yeah, we add pretty much every single ritual that we can.
Right.
Everyone that we can get away with.
I'm thinking... I'm going to just, like, look at a handful. I know not all of these make much sense, like Brightstone Ritual, maybe not. Infernal Plunge, maybe yes. It really depends. I think Infernal Plunge is okay, but only if we're generating bodies early game, and I
don't think we are. I think we're running very few creatures in the end.
I would use Ragavan and Dockside, and I wouldn't mind breaking them early. Like, let me put Ragavan in, and I'll put Infernal Plunge on the sideboard. I do want to acknowledge its existence.
Yeah, I agree to that. I don't think we're running a lot of creatures, but I could be wrong about that.
Rite of Flame is good to me, though. Skirk Prospector? Nah.
No. We don't need a blood pet.
Chandra's Cat? No, we don't. Desperate Ritual, yes. Pyretic Ritual, yes. And Seething
And you
Song.
already added Rite of Flame, right?
Mm-hmm. Seething Song, Pyretic Ritual, and don't worry, I'm going to get to the monkey in a second. Have you seen that new monkey movie? What's it called? The Planet of the Apes, Ape No Business But Show Business?
I have not heard about that.
Okay, well, there's a new one. I haven't watched any of them. Am I missing out? Let me know, guys, if I'm missing out.
I haven't watched any either. I'm not the guy to talk to about that.
Generator Servant, says Martin Webb. Generator Servant. So Generator Servant produces 2 generic mana, and whatever that goes towards, or I should say colorless, whatever that goes towards gains haste. So it's technically a piggy bank for us.
Yeah, should we run a Chandra the Firebrand? That's a +2 deal 1, or sorry, +1 deal 1 damage, cost 4, enters at 3 loyalty, -2 when you cast your next instant or sorcery, copy it, and then -6, deal 6 damage to up to 6 targets.
Wait, what's the cost of this one again?
3 in a red.
I'll put her there for now. Put her there, pal. Vessel of Volatility, Will. How do you feel about paying 2 to pay 2 later to crack it for 4? I think that's exactly enough to cast our commander, so I like Vessel of Volatility a lot.
It's not horrible. It's
not
stockpile.
It could definitely be sidelined, and I'm not going to say it's like crucial for the list, but I think we can use it for now.
On Runaway Steamkin.
I was just looking at it.
Yeah, how well are we stacking that up?
So Martin Webb, sorry, I read your card and I didn't say anything about it. So I'm only looking up red mana because we do have double generic, double red. I didn't see Reckless Barbarian as a card, but it's not crucial that she has haste. Not to say that that's necessary, but I do think I would rather produce red pips to help with our cards, because a lot of, if you notice, all the cards we put in this, this deck so far, all of the copy effects, a lot of them have red pips as a requirement, like the classics, like Reverberate Fork, they're double red. So I'm really just looking to add things that produce red for now, but we can incorporate, obviously other cards. I do want to add City of Traders, by the way, if you didn't add it already. Okay, you added it. Okay.
Yeah. Also, Reckless Barbarian is a 1 in a red for a 2/2 that says sack this, get 2 red mana. So it's a Vessel of Volatility, but you don't have to pay the 2 into it to activate it.
Right. I was thinking about it.
It's better than Vessel of Volatility. If we keep either of them, I think the Barbarian is better.
It's just a piggy bank. I mean, but he could die technically, but you could use him the same
turn. Wow, Patrick, saying that he can just die. How rude.
Wow, okay. I thought you were just suggesting that everything dies to removal. But I'm like, well, I mean, there's more removal for shit like this than there are enchantments, so... Yeah, I
Man,
agree.
Patrick hates Reckless Barbarians so much that he just wants them to die. Holy crap,
Yeah,
Patrick.
maybe we should infernal plunge this stupid barbarian. Oh wait, it's a mana
You
loss.
make one more mana that
Yeah.
way, you filthy barbarian.
Yeah, actually, if it's technically, if you really look at it, it's 2 for him, 1 for the thing. So you're making
Yeah.
3 in all. So it's just net even. It's just a shitty
Yeah.
deal. Don't infernal plunge your reckless barbarian. Is there different art for the reckless barbarian? I'm really thinking about it now.
Think so.
I like it. I like it. I just like promos and stuff because of
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. I haven't seen the newest new trilogy with Caesar. It's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were discontiguous. I didn't know if I needed to watch all of them, so I think that's why I'm refraining from watching any of the Planet of. I know, like, the initial run of them, the older ones, I do refer to each other. I don't really know about the new one, but that's good to know. Birgi, Stormkill, and Artist, Urabrosk. Will, go down the line. Say yay or nay to those 3.
Bergie is pretty good just because it's 3 mana to start up and then it does good. Urbrask and Stormkill, they're 4 mana to do their thing, and I don't know if Stormkill's a yes, because Stormkill is magecraft over everything else. Urbrask is probably a no, only
Even
because...
though Ura is an outlet, though, am I wrong?
Yeah, but we need to have him already on board. I'm even a maybe on Bergie. I'm not the biggest fan of Bergie in the deck, just because we're not really storming. We're playing 2 spells and just saying, "Look, we won."
Well, I mean, we're also I don't know, like we can reasonably get to Urabrosk. Like if we're just casting spells on our turn, and I do think the rest of this list should just be card quality effects or things like, which we should just put in the list now, like Jessica's Will and anything that's going to help us impulse draw. I think we could storm into that 4 mana and then very easily drop Urabrosk or Bergie, and then long term those things will help us. But I think Urabrosk I like a little bit better. Just the simple fact that, I mean, it's only cast though. Never mind, Urabrosk sucks.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I don't know. Let me sideline.
I'm iffy on Bergie. I'm a no on Urbrask.
Yeah. Deflecting swats.
Oh, Patrick, we forgot to include the best ritual in red right now, Mind Goblin.
What? Oh.
Yeah, the sticker goblin.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I mean, is it...
It's...
How do I look this one up?
Just type in... I don't even know. It's just goblin. Just type in goblin and then do search by... Actually, if you type goblin, it might be the first result. Let me check that.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
If it's not the first, then it's the last.
Well, it doesn't let me scroll.
Yeah, it's the second to last. Oh, wait, sorry. They haven't freaking named sticker goblin as the thing there.
It's called sticker goblin?
The alternative version is called Sticker Goblin. I'll look it up. You keep doing your thing. I will find the best way to find it.
No, I agree with you. I already added Dockside Extortionist, by the way, in case you guys are worried about that. I'm aware. Do we have Neheb, says Martin Webb. Presumably the 4-cost Neheb that lets us, rummage. So... No, we don't. We could technically use Neheb. If we did, we have more of a reason to use Generator Servant. I'll add Deflecting Swat, by the way. I do think we need to talk about our removal suite. And does that removal suite use Zioa's Justice?
Yes, it always does. It's one of the best pieces of removal that we've gotten in so long.
Oh God, I never remember how to spell this. Zioa's Justice.
It's A-Y-A, O-Y-O-W-A.
Oh, Absurd Inquisitor. Does Berkey ever have a backside? Let me tell you. Oh, I got a story to tell you about that.
If you type in Goblin, it's actually like the 5th or 16th card. It's like the first card in the 4th line. It's not hard to find at all. But it's yeah, you're looking up how to type that in on frickin'
yes.
That's horrible.
Noisy
Goblin. No. It's just Goblin. If you type in Goblin and scroll... Oh, no, but you can't scroll down, can you? Do the, what is it called? The underline.
Oh, no. Underscore? Goblin,
I think.
blank? No, it's not working.
All right, try Infinity number 107.
What's KTK? Can you just give me the set? What is Unfinity? Is it UNX? Is that what that is?
UNF.
UNF. Okay, let's just see if this saves it.
Yeah, UNF 107.
Hey, it worked. Goblin.
There we go.
UNF.
Oh, it's the underscore goblin. It's mind goblin.
I call him underbar goblin. Professional facebreaker, Will?
Yeah. It stores up mana. Should be good enough. It also impulse draws to fill up our hand. Or to fill up our hand.
Guys, I'm going to take a step back. We have 3/4 of the deck complete. I do think... Oh, dude, look at the goblin it gave me. It gave me a token.
Oh, no.
This goblin's got a backside, too. And the backside's a demon. Wait. Oh, Demon Balrog. Demon Balrog. What the fuck? Wait, what set is this?
Wait,
MTG
that's...
Cardsmith. Flying Menace Vigilance. Hell yeah, dude. What is this token from? Is this a card I can buy? This is so cool.
I think that's a proxy.
Well, okay, well, we're getting rid of it because there's a problem.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Yeah, okay, well...
Does it really not pop up with underscore goblin?
Nope.
Okay, try 5 underscores goblin.
Oh, got it. Thank God. Gamble. Oh, yeah, we.
Oh, yeah, gamble. Oh, yeah,
is this?
We play gamble.
It's the goblin token is just not going to leave the deck, dude.
Oh, no.
Here. There we go. Okay, I just want to take a look at our list. Will, if you'd like to... It says it's banned or not playable. This deck is not Commander EDH legal because of an underscore goblin. I thought these were banned from...
They are. Hold up. Did we get a ban list that I didn't know about?
Did we get a ban on underscore goblin for Commander players?
That would be weird, considering that WotC specifically came out and said we wanted to keep these effects unbanned for Commander.
Well, it's banned here for Commander. That could be incorrect.
It does not appear to mention stickers anywhere on the ban list. Nor Goblin. So, it's all good. Right. May 2024.
Thanks, Wolfsbane, by the way, for the ape knowledge. Oh, shit, I never added our ape.
Oh, yeah, Simeon.
Speaking of apes... Here, okay, I want to take a look at the list, though, because we do need to add a lot of shit. So this is tutors, and this is our interaction suite. And probably take away some lands, like Sandstone Needle. And add a Prismatic Vista.
Why are you hating on Sandstone Needle, Patrick?
And Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. Sorry.
Do we... Oh, yeah, we don't need Nykthos in this deck.
No.
Yeah, why are you hating on Sandstone Needle? It makes 2 red for a commander.
It's slow.
You're slow.
What'd you say? Okay. Special guest Prismatic Vista. Why is a land a special guest? I thought they reserved that for creatures.
No, they have a special guest everything. Like, they have special guest Vindicate and stuff like that.
Anything can be invited to a party and be a guest. I guess you're right, Will. Shit.
To be fair, like, people have been slapped in the face and murdered by the embodiment of grief. If sadness can punch you in the face, I'm pretty sure anything goes in Magic Gathering.
No, we're getting suggestions for Overmaster. The next spell... Holy crap. Dude, I'm aware of the Torment version of this card, but this new one... the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Draw a card.
Irrelevant, only because our copy effect can't be countered, but the thing it's trying to copy can't be countered, and then when it resolves, it copies a thing which can be countered.
Right, so we're winning at instant speed as well. Well, we should be trying to win at instant speed, correct?
Yeah.
So... And we're just stockpiling mana, right? So, like, if our commander's out, we just tap our lands before whatever. So we've built up our mana, or we're sort of idling until we want to go off. This is going to be a really cool commander. I can't wait to playtest this. So on Overmaster, I don't dislike it. I get what you're trying to go for here. I don't think it's necessary, though. But what I do think is necessary are some impulse draw effects, and there have been a ton. So let me just look up like
I
exile and play effects. If there's any rummage or impulse draw effects you guys want, let me know.
No, we want specifically like loot effects, things that get cards to hand, not impulse, because we want to be able to keep our hand somewhat filled to be able to play out the game. So we need stuff that keeps our hand filled, not gives us cards to play with.
So sorry, there's one tech card that this search helped with, and then Will, if you don't mind doing a search on text for that. But Direfleet Daredevil is a card that I've slotted into many a mono red list, and I do think it's worthy here. But it's generic in a red first strike. Whenever Direfleet Daredevil enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. So basically, this is a way to steal tutors. It also gives us a body, which is potentially relevant if all we want to do is play, Heat Shimmer Dualcaster Mage, right? So for some reason our commander's not there. We can just steal the tutor. We've got the one piece of the combo in hand. We get the other piece of the combo. Red is lacking in tutors. This is kind of a hinky way to get there. But if we're just generating mana and have it on, in a bank, essentially, I don't see why Direfleet Daredevil couldn't be played in this situation. I do like this. But Will, what you got for me, son?
Well, to start, I would recommend your personal favorite card, the One Ring.
Oh, I don't know if we need that one.
I think it's good enough in the deck because even if it taps twice, it's 4 mana to draw 3.
Oh, sidebar. Have you guys seen this?
Nice.
Well, I got a new. So me and my wife just celebrated 12 years together over the weekend, and we bought ourselves wedding bands. My parents were very kind, and they gave us their old wedding bands, but we wanted something of our own. But if you look at the interior of the ring,
did you get the inscription?
No. Better. If you look at the interior of the ring, this is called Till Death Do Us Part series, and it's called the Catacombs of Love. If I can get it to focus here, do this.
Camera's got ADD, having trouble focusing.
No, it's okay. It's okay. There you go. So if you look on the interior, it's just lined with all these little skulls. It's the coolest thing. There's a maker's mark there. But yeah, the whole band on the interior is just a bunch of little skulls. It looks sick as hell, or at least I like it a lot. But I remember seeing this when I was picking up my wife's engagement ring. I remember seeing this and thinking to myself, man, it'd be so cool to own that. And that was like, obviously like 3 years back or 2 years back at this point. 3 years back at this point. Jeez Louise. At any rate, speaking of the One Ring, this ring is like just a classic rounded band. And every time I look at it, I just think of the One Ring, which is not a problem. It just says a lot about me as a person that I think this wedding band is just the nerdiest object in Tolkien lore possible. But at any rate, congratulations. Thank you so much. I was super excited for it. Ali got a matching band, a female version. She just wanted a smaller band. But yeah, I got this. It's pretty big in person, but I absolutely love it. She loves her band. We're both super happy. Anyway, sorry.
Next, we have Thrill of Possibility. Just discard a card, draw 2 cards, instant speed.
Isn't there a way better one?
There is, and we're going to be getting to that.
Okay.
I'm going by EDH rec order as per usual.
I usually like to use my Jasper deck, Direfleet Daredevil. Will take notes to make my opponent's stacked interaction to protect my play. I see. That's pretty sick. Red Spectre. And thank you, Martin. Conspiracy theorist or containment construct. Sorry. Keep going with your calls though. Here, I'm just looking up these cards. Conspiracy theorist.
Demand Answers is the better one, by the way.
I like that.
Does Conspiracy Theorist let you play them from grave, or does it exile them and you can play them?
So, whenever you discard one or more non-land cards, you may exile one from your graveyard. Then, if you do, you may cast it this turn.
Alright, the fact that it's May, I like. The reason why is we are going to also be running Shuffle, like a Shuffle Titan to loop, so we don't want to impulse our Shuffle Titans.
Ooh. Do we want Treasonous Ogre?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah. Yeah. You know why? I think in the same way that Treasonous Ogre could just win you the game in Godo, if we have the right hand and we have the right amount of cards, I think we could probably just win the game with Treasonous Ogre in this list as well.
And by the right hand, you mean 2 fork effects.
2 fork effects, yes. Treasonous Ogre is a must, for sure. Magnetic Theft if you're running Helm of the Host. If we wanted to... I don't know if we're running Helm of the Host.
We're not running Helm of the Host.
Yeah.
If we wanted, we could run the haste cantrips, just so that for our Ragavan and our Facebreaker, they can attack immediately, and it's still card draw.
What are the haste cantrips again? And do we want to use any other haste enablers in this deck, the protective ones, or no?
I don't know.
Like Lava Spur to Lightning to...
I don't think we need the protective haste enablers. If we have like protection cantrips, that's good.
Right.
Because what we want is we want all the instant speed cantrips that we can reasonably run, so that we can
just get the ball rolling on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we also want to be able to have spells on the stack that we can target if we need to take the initiative ourselves. But
yeah, Expedite and Crimson Wisps, by the way.
Thank you. Expedite
and Crimson Wisps.
Are those the only two?
I think those are the only two that people run. There's probably like a 2-mana one that people run, but I like the 1-mana ones.
No, I agree. So Will's just suggesting they're 1 red pip. They draw a card and they also enable haste, right? Or Crimson Wisp changes the color of a thing.
Makes it red and makes it haste, but it's
perfect.
already red, so...
Gotcha. There's a new Phoenix in Monster Hunter 3 that can grant haste from the graveyard? Like an anger? Like an anger effect? What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, I think it was a card that got leaked. Give me a second. I will find that.
That we won't be able to put in the deck, sadly, but we could use a stand-in if we want. Is this a list for Isochron Scepter? I want to say yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a why not for Isochron Scepter, because either we put in a loot effect to try to draw up, or we put in a fork effect.
Slap a fork. Just get you. Well, I mean, it's so. I mean, look, I'm a huge fan of copy effects. I do think that they're the best that Magic has to offer. I really do think copy effects are the best. So if we just slap a fork on here, obviously it's our win con for the list, but it's also just providing us oodles of value. Like whatever is on the stack that we want, just copy it. Take a copy. Why don't you? I think Isochron Scepter could work here. I actually quite like it. Were there any other loot and or rummage effects you wanted, Will?
I think we're probably good on that. We can probably run... Actually, I think we're probably good on hand fixing because we have so much redundancy. But also the haste card is Detective's Phoenix, and I'm not a big fan because it's a 3 in a red for a 2/2 flying haste creature that has Bestow for 1 red and 6 evidence. And you may cast it for its bestow cost from the graveyard. It is like another anger effect, but you need to exile stuff, which feels a little bit bad, but it is a like Hermit Druid or Basalt Orb line.
So
this Miracle Monolith line.
I am adding. So I've just added. Give me 1 second. Speaking of my wife. Wait. Sorry. Okay, we're good. I've added Tiplet's Trickery, Null Elemental Blast. I want to start steering us towards our interaction suite. Do we still use a Brade?
We probably still have a Brade. We also want some spells that we can loop to win the game.
Like Lightning Bolt?
Like Lightning Bolt.
Yeah. What else do you want to use? Wait. Wait. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Lightning Bolt. What else is of value? We need at least a few outlets. Do we need a Titan? By the way, I realize
we need a Titan, and we probably want the Ulamog Infinite Gyre. I think is the name of the Titan. Also, a Deflecting Swat. If we haven't added Deflecting Swat already,
I did. But
all right.
Give me 1 second. Are we sure that's the best Shuffle Titan, or do we not? Wait.
It's either that or Kozilek.
I mean, I'm a little sucker for Kozilek. I'm not gonna lie.
We could run both just for redundancy and protection.
So, specifically, if you guys aren't aware of the Shuffle Titans, these are cards that were kind of made popular in Gitrog, I would say. There are some other lists that wanted to loop their library. You'd also see like Gaia's Blessing in that list, but that was stupid. Don't use that card. Use one of these though.
It's really funny because people on the Discord were saying, "Wow, this deck feels like it's Gitrog. It's mono red Gitrog."
Wait. Give me 1 second. I think I think my wife's home. Wow. Then I got a message like delayed by an hour, and I'm like, there's someone in my house. And I'm like, that must be her. There might be a stranger in my house watching my TV. We'll continue. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, though. What I like about this is because the fact that we're stockpiling mana means we could realistically cast either very seriously. Especially if we have Braids of Fire online early and no one bothers with it. It's like, okay, I'll just make a lot of mana, I guess. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, or Ulamog are not too far from being castable. I like the draw, though, personally, because, you know, I'll take as much as I can get. But if you want to run both, or we can run one or the other, what's Ulamog what? Ulamog?
Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, I believe.
Infinite Gyro, got it.
Indeed.
Mizzix Mastery. Will brought it up earlier. We added it. Did we add it? No, we did not add any of our tutors. So
all the one tutor in red.
We've got Gamble. We've got Gamble. Imperial Recruiter was suggested.
Yeah, Imperial Recruiter's good because we can hit Stormkill and we can hit Dockside. We can hit
Treasonous Ogre.
Indeed. Also, Electro Dominance is an outlet for our mana, in addition to being a way to cast sorceries at instant speed.
Wait, Will. We're being asked, is Bolt Bend a no-no? No, Bolt Bend's a yay-yay. Bolt Bend's a yeah. It's a yes for sure. Because Bolt Bend requires that you have 4 power. So Absurd Inquisitor, you're correct on that. I do think that Bolt Bend is a valid option here. But what did you just suggest there, Will? I'm sorry.
Electro Dominance. It's pay X in a red, deal X damage to any target, and then cast a spell from your hand with mana value X or less without paying its mana cost. This lets us cast. We can cast sorceries at instant speed.
So you just want to go full Dom mode. All right, I like it. Well, we've added 2 tutors. Was there really nothing else in red?
I don't believe so. Red is not known for its tutoring.
Really? I thought it was really close to black in like accessible tutors.
Yes, quite close in the tutelage.
Well, I mean, we've got like artifact tutors, and we've got Moonsilver Key. Is Moonsilver Key any good?
We can run Goblin Engineer theoretically.
But like, what for? What? I mean, what do we need? Oh, we need
Isochron Scepter, Patrick. Come on,
bruh. We haven't even added our. We've added our rituals. We've not added any. Have we added all the rituals though? Hold up. Wait.
Yeah, I think we've added all the good rituals. We haven't added the fast mana though. I know as well. I was paying attention to that.
Yeah. Let me look at something really quick. I feel like there's some dumb rituals that we could use that we haven't added to the list. I know we skipped over some of these. I added Seething Song. That's as far as I got.
Do we want a Mog Salvage as just a 0 mana kill a artifact?
Would you want to use Geosurge? Mog Salvage? Mog Salvage. Wait. Yes, Mog Salvage, of course. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're still on interaction. I'm getting all flustered. Let's do Mog Salvage. Let's do Meltdown. We're not going to get hurt as badly as everyone else will from a Meltdown. Let's use, what's the really good one that lets you replicate it? Shattering Spree. I'm a huge fan of Shattering Spree. I think we can get away with that. Fervent Mastery. Pyretic Rituals in, Martin. Reckless Handling. I'm going to sideline that because we really do need to have an objective with these tutors. I don't think we need artifacts that badly. Although technically it could be used as an outlet as well, right?
What can be used as an outlet?
Reckless Handling. Right? We discard a card at random, but if it technically discards it's non-deterministic or it's going to take a very long time.
Well, we can set up to have only artifacts in hand if we really want to. My only issue is that it is a sorcery, which theoretically it's still good because it's like, oh yeah, we find a mana crypt or something on turn 1 or turn 2, which lets us get into Ashling and then try to do the thing right after. So it's still good. I just don't think it's as great as for an outlet because it is a sorcery.
Do you like Fervent Mastery?
Fervent Mastery. I do, but I don't think we need tutors because our entire deck is find a combo that makes us draw our whole deck. So I don't think tutors are really required in our deck.
Am I crazy for wanting to add Iron Crag Feet to the list?
Yes.
I'm gonna put on the sideboard.
Patrick, stop. You like feet too much.
God, I love a good pair of feet. And this girl, damn, she's got 7 mana's worth of feet right there.
I like the concept that your wife could potentially hear you say that completely out of context.
Yeah, it's okay. She knows.
He knows what I'm about, and I have a VOD to prove my innocence.
Hello, all. Are you guys excited for 6? Absolute powerhouse and goes infinite with Life of the Loam. Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam, though. I don't think Life from the Loam.
So you can use Life from the Loam, any draw effect, and then Life from the Loam, any draw effect in Lion's Eye Diamond. I guess you can go infinite that way. There are infinites for 6. My issue is you can't tutor them well, and they are really difficult to set up.
I want to see you take a crack at it, Mateus, though. I would be interested to see it. Yes, I'm mildly excited for 6. Yeah, I'm curious to you guys. Which legendary... Here, let me just ask. Which legendary are you most excited?
I was so happy with 6, and then I became so sad when I saw that it said permanent. You can only retrace a permanent. If it didn't, it would have been so good.
It's still pretty alright, man.
Oh, it's going in the 99 of like every single green deck in casual from here until the end of time, 100%. But I don't think it's great in CDH.
How do you feel about Mana Geyser?
Mana Geyser. No. I mean, granted, I have like 40 copies of Mana Geyser for trade at all times, but...
Dude, he says Hermit Druid and dump your deck into the graveyard. Who needs tutors?
I think that doesn't work because Dredge makes you mill as a cost, so if you don't have a deck, you can't Dredge. Let me double check that.
Inner Fire. Honestly, guys, so far as legendaries I'm interested in, like, this is one of them. Like, I'm very excited for this, and I'm very excited for, what's that guy with the last name, Will? Eladamri? For each card in your hand. Inner Fire might not make that much. Also, Groundskeeper is a combo with LED. Groundskeeper is a combo with LED. I'll believe it when I see it. We're going to use Soul Ring. We're going to use Mana Crypt. Cryptid to Mana. We're going to use Jeweled Lotus.
Dredge does require you to mill the cards, so you do need to have the cards in deck.
Do you want a Mox Opal on this list, or is that a bridge too far for you? It's maybe too far for
I
me.
don't know how many artifacts we're running.
Not that many. Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Volt's probably still usable here. But we don't lose mana as it steps and phases end, right? Any form of mana, correct? You don't lose unspent red mana. Okay, so we'll need to use that generic for something, but it's still not bad. Fuck, is that all I want? Lion's Eye Diamond?
Hub Stomp, I was looking at Imsker Imsker. I was looking at Imsker, and I think that there's potential as a CDH commander because black lets you sacrifice, red lets you clone, and then if you have enough artifacts, you can just keep going. So I think that there's potential for CDH, but it feels like a worse Rakdos.
Harmonic Prodigy, I insist.
Oh, somebody was recommending Power Balance, which I think is another card that was leaked.
It's new. So yes, so for for posterity, for anyone watching this after the fact, some of these cards aren't accessible right now, but I do like Power Balance. I do think it's something that we could, yes, include in the list.
It's Redristic Study to some extent.
What do you want to do? Do you want to put it in the deck? Do you want? It's not. Well, it's like it's technically like what's the blue card? Is it the one I'm thinking of? Is it the one that
counterbalance? Like, Power Balance is counterbalance, but you cast cards from the top of your deck instead of stopping your opponents from casting.
I'm gonna put Counterbalance in the deck, and we're gonna know that that card is Power Balance. How about that?
Yeah.
If an ability of a shaman or a wizard you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Will, do you like Harmonic Prodigy in the list? Does it win more?
Not really needed. Not really needed.
Does it win more to you? Roaming Throne. Okay, nothing like that. Stronic Resonator.
We do not need to copy our triggered ability at all, because the issue is we are never getting more than 4 mana. Because if we copy the effects, it's going to say, oh, it triggered the 5th time when we copied it, or the 4th time, my bad. It triggered the 4th time when we copied it, ergo you don't get the mana off of it. So there's no point in copying the effects. It's just unnecessary for Ashling.
Yeah, I like it though. Let me sideline the Prodigy at least. I don't think it's bad. I think it is maybe a little win more, but the body's still nice for us. And if we trigger that last effect, like if we do it 3 times and we get 8 mana,
we don't get 8 mana ever.
What are you talking about? Wait up. If
we copy the ability, then it triggered the 4th time.
Oh.
That means we don't get the mana. So we are never getting 8 mana off of it. It's always only 4.
Get some dual caster mage combo in there. We did get some dual mage caster combo in there. Dual caster mage combo in there. The
funny thing is we have the 2 different dual caster mage combos. We have dual caster for infinite copies of Fork for Magecraft, and we have dual caster Twin Flame.
Wait, what is with our deck? What is this? There's like a generic slice in the pie. What is this shit?
That's probably
Null Elemental
the blue.
Blast. Null Elemental
Blast. Yeah.
No. Well, okay, guys. So we need to cut 3 cards. I don't know if we're technically done, but this looks done to me. Am I missing any artifacts that are relevant? Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Mox Diamond. We might not use the Lion's Eye Diamond. I put it there because Underworld Breach is a card that does exist, and it is something we can play with, but it's fine. Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Isochron Scepter, Sword of Wealth and Power. This is costly. It's maybe a little bit more of a gimmick than anything else, but it does do the do for the deck, so I kind of want to try to stick with it.
So we need to cut 3 cards, right?
Are we missing anything? I normally we go when we do the rounds here, we'll handle everything in an orderly fashion, but we kind of slammed things in this list.
It's a very direct deck. It knows what it wants.
Do you like Chandra enough to incorporate her?
Enough. It's another Fork effect, and it has a little bit of extra upside, tiny bit of removal. Good enough, in my opinion.
The tiniest bit of removal.
Yeah.
Also, they changed the way Chandra looked. I just want to point that out, but I kind of like this older art style for her.
Also, for removing stuff, if you want, we can cut that Chandra because it really is like the worst Fork in our entire deck.
Right, and we've got a ton of them. So, where do you want to start here? There's a lot going on with the list, but
yeah, I think cutting Chandra, maybe Sword of Wealth and Power, and then actually, I really like the protection on Sword of Wealth and Power.
Me too.
Yeah, we're keeping that.
No, me too.
Maybe the stockpile cards can go, like the Vial and the Berserker. Maybe Bergie can go, because no, Bergie's good enough if we still have Bergie in here.
Right, Bergie does have a flip side, someone pointed out. Like, we may just want to use her for the flip side as well. Yeah. But it is like you do discard to exile. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you discard to Impulse too.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to dig, it's not bad. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Really like the new 6 card. That card is in several decks. Tyam loves that card. Speaking of Grizzly, Kudos plus Elish Norn. No more creatures. Wait, explain why you don't get 8 mana. Will.
So the reason why you don't get 8 mana is Ashling cares about what number trigger of Ashling that you get. So if you copy the trigger for Ashling, that makes it the 4th trigger, not another copy of the 3rd trigger. Ergo, Ashling will say this ability is triggered a fourth time, I will discard and draw. So Ashling will never make more than 4 mana, because if you copy the effect, it isn't copying the exact text of the effect, it is having Ashling trigger again, which just gives you the one loot.
So, if you were to cast a spell, you would get both the first and second time the abilities resolve this turn?
Yeah. I think Strionic Resonator might work, potentially, because it is copying the very specific effect, but the other two are triggering an additional time. So Strionic might work, but the other two don't. But I also don't like Strionic, because we're basically paying 4 mana to make 4 more mana.
Are you saying you want to cut Braid of Fire, or you're asking if we have it in the deck? It's in the deck, for sure.
Yeah, Braid of Fire is really good just with Ashling in general. It might be greedy and bad in the end game because it literally does nothing until we get our commander out, and I don't think we need the mana.
Do you like Mizzix's Mastery enough to keep? Probably, right?
I love Mizzix's Mastery in the deck. Honestly, Braid of Fire might be able to go just because it is kind of a win more card. We're playing it and then it's making like 1 mana that we're not going to use, then 2 mana that we're not going to use, and then it stores up 3 mana for us, and then it stores up 4 mana for us.
Let's realistically, like, if we drop it early, it's never our first priority. We'll probably realistically drop it after Ashling hits. And then what? It's gaining us, what, 1 mana? We're not on, like, Final Fortune. We don't need the additional mana going into the additional turn. Braid of Fire is good, but I'm like, how much... Let's cut the Vessel of Volatility before we do anything crazy here, okay?
Yeah.
And let's cut the Reckless Barbarian. I think Braid of Fire is better than those two. But that actually, puts us to 100. And probably, and really only probably. Okay, so we're at 100, Will.
Yeah.
And this is the list in full. It went from 100% competitive to 99%. That's fine.
Well, nod to what the YouTube channel used to be called. Let's go.
Hey, there you go. So you know it's going to be good. So guys, this is Ashling, the Flame Dancer. This is not the only build that will be out there, but it's certainly going to be among the first. And if you want to help us iterate on this build, let us know in the comments after this video or during the live any other tech cards we can include in the list or ways we can shape this so that it's a better Ashling Flame Dancer commander. But on that note, I kind of want to playtest it. I'm going to go over your comments pretty quickly here, though. You have any either copy or reset Ashling to get more mana? You have to either copy or reset Ashling. Okay. Ashling is 4 power, so we could play Bolt Bend. We have Bolt Bend in the list, Aggro Creeper suggestion. Interesting. Pretty sure Will is wrong on that. Doesn't Prodigy copy the ability on the stack? Isn't that how 4-cost Omnath works?
Let me check.
I don't know.
So Prodigy is whenever an ability of it triggers an additional time. Prodigy does not copy the ability; it triggers an additional time. Omnath and Flame Dancer both say that when it triggers X time, it does an additional effect, meaning that Ashling isn't triggering the third time twice; it's triggering a third time and a fourth time. So Harmonic Prodigy does not work. I can say that 100% for certain. Does Ashling work with what was it? The frickin' Strionic Resonator. Does Ashling work with Strionic Resonator? I don't know. It might, because it's not triggering an additional time. It is literally copying the trigger that is happening on the third time. So that might work. That could just copy the trigger an additional time. It's a weird ruling thing that I don't know, but it's also irrelevant because that's not worth running.
Ashling cares about the ability resolving, not triggering.
Correct, but then the issue is that when the ability resolves, the next one isn't going to make mana. So if Ashling is triggering if Ashling is let me pull up Ashling so I can quote this perfectly. So, Ashling, whenever you copy an instant or sorcery spell, discard a card, draw a card. If this is the second time that this ability has resolved this turn, then Ashling deals 2 damage to each opponent. If this is the third time, make 4 red. So, Ashling cares if the ability resolves, and as the ability resolves, you get the subsequent effect. So, if Ashling resolves for the third time, and you copy it, the third time is going to resolve, you're going to get 4 red. Then, the fourth time is going to resolve, you're just going to discard draw. So, no, it doesn't work. And if we want, I can look this up, because I'm pretty sure
that ability triggers an additional time. Right, so we're sort of... we're pre-resolution and looking at the thing just going on the stack again. So technically, if we had Harmonic Prodigy down and Ashling, and let's just say we cast Lightning Bolt at our Harmonic Prodigy, sure, why not? We're going to get a trigger from Ashling, and then we're going to get a separate trigger from Harmonic Prodigy. The first one to resolve will be Harmonic Prodigy, so that's trigger number 1, and then it will resolve a second time, and you'll get to do the Rummage effect as well as get the bonus perk of doing 2 damage to each opponent. Does that make sense? And then if we were to do it a third time, you would get a third and a fourth trigger, as Will suggested, and so on and so forth. But correct us if we're wrong. I mean, honestly, I'm not a judge in this game, so I might be misinterpreting this. Red Flare is also good in this deck. Yeah, Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, Will. How the hell did either of us miss those 2 cards?
We are too focused on Null Elemental Blast.
Yeah, we got that one in there. Red Flare? What do you... Mateus, why you always...
Oh, Red Flare's the new free copy effect.
Oh.
We 100% are on that.
No, I know. But just like Power Balance, we need a stand-in for Red Flare. What's a good stand-in for Red Flare?
Is there a good card that just has Flare in the name that we can use as
Maybe there's just a card that says Flare. There's a card that just says Flare. Done.
Perfect.
Okay, we need to cut more cards, folks, and then we are going to test this list, and then I will do that whole spiel about this not being the only version of this list, so please don't hate us. We need to cut 3 cards, Will. What do you want to cut? We've got Sorceries to look at, Bonus Round, Heat Shimmer, Howl of the Horde, Jessica's Will, Finale of Promise, Double Cast, Molten Duplication, Twin Flame, Meltdown, Shattering Spree, Gamble. So we're
I like our sorcery package for the most part. We can probably cut some of the artifact removal, but I keep it right now.
I still want it. Just the real issue for us is honestly going to be a Rule of Law effect, and those are enchantments. And what do we know about red and enchantments?
Not happy.
Yeah, so we're kind of SOL if something like that hits the fan.
We may want to add Chaos Warp just to deal with that, in addition to the fact that Chaos Warp is kind of an outlet with our infinite copying loop.
Yeah. Is there a better solution for enchantments at this point?
There is a new one. It might hit enchantments. I need to check this, but there's a red thing that's Chaos Warp, but it can only hit your opponent's things.
Wait, I'm sorry. What other realistic problems will we run into other than like a Rule of Law and a stacks list? I guess tax effects. No, that's not even true because like we're gonna have a copy chain going, but we do need to loop a card ultimately. So
Wild Magic Surge. Wild Magic Surge. It's a red instant, destroy target permanent, and then its controller reveals the top until they reveal one that shares a type, and they put it onto the battlefield rest on the bottom in a random order. So it's Chaos Warp, they're always guaranteed to hit something, but it's destroy a permanent.
No, I like Wild Magic Surge. I like this. I think this logic's for the list. Braid is too slow since we're looking to turbo.
Braid kills Draneth Magistrate, and it kills a couple artifacts that can potentially stack us. It should stay in there. Oh, Braid is in Braid of Fire. Yes, I think we should probably cut Braid of Fire.
No, I'm with you guys. Gruff rewrites history, doesn't do enchantments. Gruff rewrites history. What is Gruff?
It's a polymorph, a permanent each player controls, but I think there's limitations to it, so it doesn't hit enchantments.
Wild Gruff. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, I can't find it, but that's okay. I trust your deduction of the card. Let's go and cut some cards. I don't disagree with you guys. That was our last piggy bank card. Past in Flames for recursion. So right now, Past in Flames, Oh, I thought I added it already. But Past in Flames gives our cards in the graveyard flashback. Mizzix's Mastery, I guess, is a better version of that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because Mizzix's Masteries just pay it once, then you're good.
It and
Giving
Finale of Promise are maybe better at doing this. That's not to say we can't run both, but we've got so much redundancy.
We can probably cut Finale for the other one. Finale's still good. Finale's still good.
I do like the suggestion Absurd. Guff rewrites history. 2 generic and a red for each player. Choose target non-enchantment, non-land permanent. Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's bad. Obviously, like there are creature-based forms of this, so it's also instant. You like Guff rewrites history, Will?
Not really.
We're also at the point we need to cut cards. Enchanter's Bane could always run Liquid Metal Torque. Yeah, that's true. It's ramp, and then it gives us an opportunity to hit something. I don't disagree with that. Enchanter's Bane. Enchanter's Bane, at the beginning of your end step, target enchantment deals damage equal to its converted mana cost to its controller unless that player sacrifices it. That's pretty cheeky. That's cheeky. I like that a lot. I don't know if it's for the list. Again, it's my only qualm with it is that it's a tad slow for us, and we're trying to, like, as folks have been suggesting, we're trying to win quickly. Whoever plays stacks nowadays is behind the meta, at least in CEDH. Yeah. I do think, though, that just because it's not seen now doesn't mean we shouldn't consider solutions for it later. I also think that just hitting enchantments such as heuristic studies isn't a bad idea.
Also, to answer the Ashling question of additional triggers, and like the whole resolving question, with Omnath Locus of Creation, if you get 5 lands in play off of one spell, you'll get 5 triggers at the same time, but it will trigger subsequently. Or it'll trigger in sequence. So you'll get the first trigger, then the second trigger, then the third trigger, then the fourth, then the fifth. So you will get the 4 life, the 4 mana, and then deal 4 damage, and then 2 dud triggers off of Omnath. So with Ashling, it's the same thing of if you get additional triggers at any point with due to either additional triggers or with other spells happening, it will just keep triggering in sequence.
Okay, well, Professional Facebreaker here.
Potentially cuttable.
Over Bergie? Over Bergie or with Bergie?
How many cards do we need to cut?
I think we need to cut 4 right now. So guys, if you're following along, let us know what cards you think we can cut from the list, but it is 4 in total. I looked over our instance. There's nothing I
do like cutting Braid.
We did Braid of Fire already.
Yeah, we can probably cut Lion's Eye Diamond because we really don't need fancy.
Why is Kozilek there is being asked? I'm going to cut Lion's Eye Diamond for sure.
Kozilek is in there because it allows us to loop through our deck infinitely, making a Lightning Bolt or any other effect an outlet for win. So Kozilek is in there because we need to shuffle Titan for the infinite Ashling loops.
Right. We'll loop the Lightning Bolt, but we're technically net even on draw while we're... Do you get what I'm saying?
Which is why we do the whole bonus round shenanigans thing with the Calamity, to make it so that we're doubling up on our draw effects and our ritual effects for infinite mana and infinite draw.
Where is bonus round again? It's instant
sorcery. It's a sorcery, but we have 2 spells that let us cast sorceries at instant speed in this deck.
Kozilek is there to shuffle, yeah, because you loot infinitely. Audacious Swap is 4 mana, which is probably too much, but Casualty 2 and instant. Audacious Swap. Sorry, we're also still considering what we want to remove here. We need to remove 3 more cards.
Audacious Swap. 3 in a red for an instant Casualty 2. The owner of target non-enchantment permanent shuffles it into its owner's library, then exiles the top card of the library. If it's a land card, they put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, they may cast it without paying its mana cost. Doesn't hit enchantments.
It's funny how red is so averse to, like, dealing with them.
Yeah.
Oh, Mind Goblin's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Mind Goblin in. Sorry,
Even,
I
even
think
though it's technically not legal, technically legal, the Tapped Out needs to make up its mind.
I like if we don't have anything better to do, like the tempo plays with things like Shattering Spree and Meltdown. I still think those are still very valid for bringing quicker decks to our speed if we happen to be pulling poorly. Tempo plays like that are always solid. Crimson Wisp and Expedite, the haste enabling isn't so crucial for us, honestly. But these are just cantrip. These are cantrippy cards that we get to play and start lines of play off of. I don't think we need them, though.
I'd like to cut maybe some of the higher CMC forks over cutting them, though, just because they are a deck thinner, and when we have the bonus round things, they let us go through our deck a little bit. Granted, we don't
Horde... Sorry. Howl of the Horde is the most expensive one.
Yeah, it's a that and what's the other one? The 4-mana one that copies it and redirects it.
Well, there's a lot of 4-mana ones, but at least they're at instant speed, like Repeated Reverberation and Wild Ricochet.
Yeah, Repeated Reverberation's actually probably the worst one. Yeah, I think Repeated Reverberation and Storm King's Thunder might be able to go.
Well, now Storm King's Thunder is triple red.
Yeah, it's triple red, but then X, so X has to be 1.
Rather those over the cantrippy haste enablers? Because now we're at 98 cards, I just want to say.
I think that we can... So we're at 98?
Yeah, it's interesting. Christopher brought up an interesting point. Krark will probably be more annoying than helpful if no Harmonic Prodigy.
Well, no, the whole point of Krark is if we cast a fork effect, we go infinite. So Krark is insane. Krark is really good.
If we win the flip.
Yeah, if we win the flip, but the thing is with Harmonic Prodigy, it's a reflip for 2 mana, but we could just cast it again for 2 mana.
Delayed Fire Blast? The CAG already said they're not banning these. Oh, the Mind Goblin? Mind Goblin perfectly included. Yeah, it's not banned. Delayed Fire...
It's weird.
I'm sorry, what is Delayed Fire Blast again? I know it's...
Delayed Fire Blast is, I think, a foretell, deal 2 damage to everything thing. If you cast it from exile, you deal 5 instead. And it's each opponent and each of their creatures.
You know what I want to include? Red's Meat Hook Massacre.
Oh, yeah, Heat Hook.
Okay, well, okay. Give me 2 cards that we missed that should just be in the list. So, 1... what is it actually called?
It's, Spiteful Banditry.
Spiteful Banditry. What is another core red card that we're missing from this list, if anything? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Imperial Recruiter to get Dockside, Krark, Dualcaster. Correct. Imperial Recruiter's in the list.
We could go Wheel of Fortune because we're playing kind of fast, and if we hit 2 forks, we just kind of win the game. So we probably win the game after casting Wheel. So Wheel of Fortune might just be good enough.
I don't disagree with you, sir. But which copy do we use? 4 and black border. Done. Alright, so officially, guys, that is Ashling Flame Dancer in a nutshell. We're not done with it yet, though. We need to see if it performs well at all. But if you're watching this after the fact, let us know if there are any tech cards or includes that you think are necessary for the list that should definitely go in there. But I think with what we got, we've definitely got something to work with. I want to run by a few games. It's always fun to test the turbo list or the more fast list just to see how quickly we can get the ball rolling on our strategy. So let's go. It's important to remember that Ashling Flame Dancer is a 4 CMC commander, technically 2 generic double red, if I'm not mistaken. And the effects on this one are pretty solid. 4/4 body, we don't lose red mana, and obviously we get to rummage, do damage, and generate some mana. So let's go ahead and test this out. Again, the list for this deck is in the description, so if you guys want to play test it yourself, please do, and let us know again what you would like to incorporate as we go along, and we'll make changes. Final Fortune, Pyroblast, REB, Wheel of Fortune, thank you, Mateus, we got those in. Fire Blast.
we don't need Final Fortune because we can win on our opponent's turn, so there's not really a lot of reason to Final Fortune. It may be a decent include later, but I think it's not needed.
I feel like it would be cool to see an update brew when you've had time to sit on the deck. That's as absurd. Do you ever do a update brew? We have not done an
Occasionally.
update. Well, it depends. It depends. Yeah, it's like it's rare. It's like they're if they need more than like 2 to 3 cards. You know what I mean? Like I update like the list I play regularly, and it's maybe 1 to 2 to potentially 3 cards at a time. Sometimes things shift around, sometimes things come back in. But no, I can't think of anything that we've done a major overhaul for. He did an update on Test Chart last week. Yeah. But yeah, something like that. But it was a while. We sat on that one for years. So maybe we are a little bit quicker to come back to these later. I don't know, unless something's like drastic about Stella Lee, we probably wouldn't change anything about Stella Lee. Or it just depends on the list we're talking about. But
while Patrick goes for hands, I'm gonna grab drinks because I haven't drank anything all day. So
yeah, please. So we're seeing some pretty shite hands here. I'm really looking for quick plays. Sadly, this looks like one of the best ones we've gotten so far, but it's a 1-lander with a Kozilek. This is very awkward, but it's gonna be pretty easy to get to Ashling. And again, she's right here. It's gonna be pretty easy to get to Ashling Flame Dancer if we ever need to use her as a reference. Shit. This is tricky because it's only instant or sorceries for Magecraft, so we do need to be wise about what we're manipulating here. We can use Barbarian Ring to get the ball rolling on a pretty early gamble. I think the gamble's probably going to go for a Mana Crypt, so we can go into Ashling for turn 2. And cross our fingers that we just ditch Kozilek in this exchange. But I think we can keep this even as a 1-lander, and we still get a draw for turn. So let's try it out. Nope, no lands off the top of our deck, but we will use the gamble here. I will look up Crypta de Mana, which is the French version, and roll a die. It'll be a D8. The D8 says, number 1, Seething Song goes away. We're just going from left to right there. Okay, next turn. Ancient Tomb, amazing. It's like we didn't need the Mana Crypts, but we'll play that. We'll play out the Mana Crypts, and we're this much closer to our Kozilek because we don't want to take the damage unnecessarily. We'll do that to play Ashling. Okay, we have Fury Storm in our hand. I just want to point that out. We only stockpile, once again, red mana, so it doesn't make any sense to tap the Ancient Tomb to save the generic mana. Sadly, that's just not something we can do, but that's okay. Going into next turn, though, we have an Imperial Recruiter. We really need red mana. So I'm thinking like a Dockside would be fantastic. We're really hoping to pull into colored mana here. So a Ritual, a Mox would be good. Chrome Mox specifically. Let's see what we can get. Okay, next turn. Mox Diamond. That is not the Mox I was referencing. Shit. All right.
This is not the Mox you were looking for.
No, it was not. Okay, we're going to cast Imperial Recruiter. It's important that this is only looking at the resolution of this trigger, so it's not like this cast works towards our Magecraft. Okay. Imperial Recruiter, what do we grab, Will? Treasonous Ogre and just hope to God no one wins? Or Dockside?
I think
probably
the safer option.
I think I know what you're going to say. All right, get Dockside into Ash. Get Dockside into Ash. You wanted to do what I did in reverse.
Yeah, I probably would have done Dockside.
No, I don't I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Because it's safe to assume that it is very safe to assume that there is at least 4 to 5 treasures accessible that early, right?
Yeah.
It's turn 3 now, so technically we would have a turn 2 Ash off the Dockside. No, we wouldn't have had enough mana. So it would still be a turn 3 Ash. If we did it that way and we did a turn 3 Ash, right? So let's just say we did this and this. We have a generic floating into a dockside. And then we're going to say that we need... Oh, what ritual did I use? Rite of Flame? So technically we would have had enough mana to do a turn 2 Ash, right? If we did Rite of Flame, Imperial Recruiter off of Rite of Flame... Let's walk it back, because I like Mateus's logic here. Give me 1 second. So we walk this back. Our turn 2 looked like this. We have Rite of Flame, float a red, do the 2 generic. We'll do this, lose some life, and we're not going to track the life loss here. Let's just say that we get 4 treasures off of that to be on the lower end of the scale.
And then we tap Ancient Tomb, crack Tube the treasures, and then Ashling.
Right, so we have 1 generic floating. We have 1 generic floating after this, so we would technically only need 3 of the treasures. So now we're at Ashling. Still, we're not able to do anything off that previous turn. So we are untapped on all fronts. This is a turn 2. Turn 3, again, we still drew the Mox Diamond. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and now this time we just wait for anybody to play an instant or sorcery, then we cast the Fury, and then we can loot infinitely. And we can do the line that I talked about earlier that requires you to only have 3 cards in hand, and then you win the game with Ashling. And you don't need to use any mana from any other sources, so the Mana Crypt or the Ancient Tomb aren't necessary.
Let's see that though. Let's see that though. And thank you, Mateus, again for helping us wind the clock back on that. I think I got a little too giddy about our commander here, but again, it's more important that we have accessible mana than anything else, and that starting hand was not leading to that. So let's just pretend there's a counter war, someone was trying to go off, and we're like, hey, we can do that too. So we're going to do the red from here, the Barbarian Ring, and then the Mana Crypt. We'll do Fury Storm. So whenever you cast a spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone. You may choose new targets for the copy. The initial target, though, needs to be something that's on the stack. So let's just say, I'm going to do the Mind Break trap that you just ripped to end the counter war, whatever. Right, so that's whenever
I do in response to your demonic consultation on the stack with your Thoracle trigger.
Right. Like if they just were about to get away with it, whatever the situation, it's almost like playing Naramea, which I think you're trying to react to the situation, less so be the situation.
Are you going to give this list to Justin? Is this going to be Justin's new list?
He would honestly love this shit. Frankly, Justin would really love this. Okay, so we Fury Storm. So now we're working off of Magecraft. So we've got a copy on the stack. It resolves. We get to... do we just want to dump the Kozilek at this point?
It doesn't really matter, but yeah, we can do Kozilek just
I'll do the Mox Diamond first. But fuck Mox Diamond. Okay, so we'll do that. And then now,
if you want, you can give us the 4 red mana right now, just so that we don't have to keep track of that.
Right, I'm sorry. I just want to clone copy token to illustrate. So this copy token, the copy always targets the duplicate spell, right? So this is what's allowing us to loop. I'm going to represent the 4 red mana, just create some treasures for us to include this one. You guys can all see that, right? Okay, so those are our 4 red mana off of Ashling. We're going to keep looping. We'll ditch the Kozilek now, which does mean that we can potentially see all of these cards again. I'll shuffle. Draw. I know that's not accurate. It's fine. So, Will, what are we trying to aim for here?
So we are trying to get a bonus round and any ritual into our graveyard. We're trying to get Simian Spirit Guide into our hand, Calamity into our hand, and then a way to draw cards. Any way to draw cards. It could be one of our target haste cantrips. It could be one of our discard draw effects. But the main idea is that we just want bonus round in our graveyard and Calamity's Wake in hand. Or sorry, invoke Calamity in hand. And then
bonus rounds and sorry, give me 1 second.
Bonus round in any way of making mana. Then we need
I don't think we need Soken Zen, the Crucible of Defiance. Anyways. Sorry. Again, Zada land base. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna keep peeling through here. There's the bonus round.
To be fair, there's not a lot of reason to not do Soken Zen. Yeah, we want bonus round in the graveyard. just so that we can cast it off of Invoke Calamity from grave.
And you want a effect to
Any ritual, pretty much. Any ritual that can produce like 2.
We've got the Rite of We've got the Rite of Flame.
Yeah.
What's the last card we're looking for? I'm just not seeing it.
Simian Spirit Guide in hand, and then any draw effect in hand.
Sorry, we're gonna fast track this a little bit, guys. I realized that was probably boring to watch. I'm sorry. So we have 3 cards in hand technically, and access to pretty much our entire deck at this point. There's the Invoke Calamity. Invoke Calamity goes to the graveyard, correct?
It stays in hand. It lets us cast spells from our graveyard. It's basically instant speed Underworld Breach.
So we're really just looking for Simian Spirit Guide, Invoke Calamity, and
anything that says draw.
Okay. And not increasing Vengeance. We are just trying to sculpt this hand here. How many cards minimally do we need in hand to do this? 3. It seems.
3 exactly, which is what we had. Granted, we might be able to do this with 2 cards in hand since we have Ancient Tomb, but I just want to show the combo off to make it so that people have a reference point.
Right. And Will is referencing 2 because Invoke Calamity does require us to have the additional mana. I mean, we technically don't even need Simian Spirit Guide, Will, for this, I don't think.
Correct. But it's not necessary. I'm just showing off the line. And it's not like it complicates things with keeping Simian in hand, because we still get there.
There's a Thrill of Possibility now, and there's a Simian Spirit. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Wow. So Kozilek was second to last there, so what I want to do is just like... God, there's no good way to drag and drop this whole thing, is there? Okay. Any rate, everything's back in our library. Will illustrate the line for us while I put all these cards back. This is going to take so long.
Yeah, so now we exile Simian Spirit Guide so that we have 5 red in total now, 4 from our Ashling and 1 from Simian Spirit Guide.
Right, this is suggesting that if our lands were tapped up, but go on.
Yeah, with that 5, we're going to cast 2 major spells from our graveyard, which we're going to re-go through until we find them again after the Kozilek Shuffle. And then we're going to find...
Just tell me what they are so I can pull them up.
It's bonus round, and then it's any ritual effect. And, like, we can do Jessica's Will if we want, just to have extra mana. We can do Seething Song, doesn't really matter. Just has to
Jessica's Will would exile our deck, though.
No. It's not infinite copies. It's just 1 copy to give us a little bit more mana.
Okay.
So then, with that bonus round, we can use the cantrip that's in our hand to draw 2 or more cards, and then with the 2 or more cards, we can repeatedly cast ritual effects and cantrip effects to be able to increase our hand size, increase our mana size for infinite mana and infinite cards in hand. Now, with infinite mana and the ability to recast cards from our hand infinitely with the Kozilek Shuffle effect, we cast Lightning Bolt. We redraw Lightning Bolt after looping through our deck with Kozilek. Cast Lightning Bolt, repeat. Our hand goes down to 1 card in hand. We recast cantrips, filling it back up. We recast Lightning Bolt, repeat. Good game.
Is Lightning Bolt the only kill spell? I guess Electro Dominance.
Electro Dominance, Lightning Bolt, and we also have Chaos Warp to remove all players' boards, and then we can pass turn and then do Dual Caster Twin Flame.
Right. I just want to illustrate this. Also, by the way, like, Will suggesting that because we did this off turn, so what we could do next is sculpt our hand for Dual Caster Twin Flame, is what he's saying. Right, so like then we just win with infinite combat after they have jack shit. But these all are instant speed wins if for some reason we don't have them accessible. The Electro Dominance, again, the Lightning Bolt, the Chaos Warp. I hope that seemed very confusing, but it's not as bad. I think it's one of those things where if it was tangible, I think it would be easier to illustrate, but because it's a lot of digging, it's kind of gross. Yeah, you only had 3 cards in your hand. Hitting Kozilek there basically bricks you now.
No, because if we discard Kozilek, we just keep looting infinitely, and we keep going until we just say, okay, we have the things we need in graveyard. Good game.
Oh, thank you, by the way. That is true. It is a May on the Choose Both for Jessica's Will. I appreciate that. Also, if Kozilek is the last card in your deck, you do lose. So you have to play the combo out. If Kozilek is the last card in your deck, you lose.
So
technically
we discard then draw. So Theoretically, yes, but we do have ways to potentially get around that because we can set up Kozilek. If we wanted, we could cut any other card in our deck for Ulamog just to be safe.
Right.
But
it's funny that you mentioned that though, because that's interesting with this list. And we were really close to Kozilek being the last card in the deck.
Doesn't actually matter because as long as we get past the first loop, we have Electro Dominance and we can cast Gamble, so we can always tutor up Kozilek at instant speed with Electro Dominance. So it's yes, theoretically yes, we would be screwed, but you can shortcut it eventually because we can tutor up Kozilek.
Another round? Bonus round?
Indeed.
We're getting some pretty shit starter hands, though. This one's a little bit better, I guess. Barbarian Ring again. Mana Crypt, Shattering Spree, Finale of Promise, Mizzix's Mastery, Dual Caster Mage, and Elemental Blast. Okay, well. Do you want to keep this or no? It's pretty
It's pretty meh.
We're just looking for a decent starter. That's all we're really looking for here.
We're looking for the one ring.
Yep, pretty much. We've got Wild Magic Surge, bonus round in hand.
I will say we're also kind of we're going for greedy hands, but you really don't need to go for greedy hands with Ashling, because if you just slow ramp into Ashling, you're still pretty fine.
Yeah, these hands are pretty meh.
You can keep up mana.
I mean, like, if we take this one, what do we really have? We have a not even early bird gear professional facebreaker. We're having some pretty shite luck here, I gotta say, with these starters. This is okay.
Probably imprint Bolt then, and then we try to hope that we get a land for one of our 3 drops, probably facebreaker.
We're gonna say that I know I pulled a card previously, but we're gonna say it's one of these mountains. We've got a Gemstone Cavern start here. This is actually pretty decent. You may begin the game with it in your hands, yada yada. It's got a luck counter on it.
We sadly don't have a fork combo in hand because it's very specifically not fork effects in hand.
Well, we do technically have a win here, right? Oh, no, yep.
No, both of them require a fork effect, and neither of them are actually fork effects.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll Seething Song our commander out anyways, though. So this is a turn 1 Ashling. Let's see how valuable.
But Patrick,
this is.
We're wasting a mana.
I know. You think that, but we're gonna have this treasure over here to represent the 1 red mana that we have floating, right? Okay, so there's Ashling. And this is Will's referring to Seething Song. I'm sorry, I'm kind of speeding through this, but we do have an additional red floating. Okay. Next turn, let's go. Stormkill and Artist. Hits keep coming. Yeah, I feel like dual casting is probably better on the Artist than it is Ashling, because it puts a bigger target on that. Although, I mean, it's not like we're gonna use dual casting right now, anyways.
Yeah. Does dual casting let us copy opponent things as well, or just our own?
Dual casting lets us copy, I'm pretty sure, anything. Copy target, answer, sorcery. Oh no, you control. Shit.
Dang.
Yeah, we're not dual casting that hard. Have you brewed with the new Eldrazi dragon? We have not. No. These days, are we hunting for Golem? That's a good question. So, yes. Yeah, I guess. What do you want to do here, Will? I'm going to play land per turn. Do we just drop dual casting? Oh, do we drop Stormkill and Artist? We just dropped
we probably drop Stormkill and Artist just to threaten more mana.
Right. Okay. So we've got 2 red just in our... technically, we're going to have 2 red in just a second.
There's also another fork effect that we could run in the new set that's potentially worth it, which is the fork tempt. So there's a tempt effect for red now that's copy target spell. Each opponent may do the same. For each opponent who does, you copy the spell again.
Okay, that's not bad. Next turn, Will, let's just cross our fingers. We're gonna float. I mean, technically, we could just drop dual casting now on the Stormkill and Artist. I would rather not, honestly. I would rather just like hold the dual strike and hold the mana and act as if we had something to do. It's fine. Electro Dominance. That's pretty bad. We're not getting anywhere. I'm sorry. We wanted to tap the mountain to produce another red that we just have floating.
Yeah. We probably foretell at some point just for the sake of saving mana.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do that right here with the dual strike. It's gonna be foretold, and then we'll do the same thing where we just produce red to produce treasure. If the game's not over yet, we'll see. Okay, next turn. Just crossing our fingers. Invoke Calamity. You may cast up to 2 instant sorcery cards and anyway 6 less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana cost. Well, it's a seething song, Will. Pat, are you aware of the hunt for Golem? No, I'm not aware for the hunt for Golem. What is this precisely? Does this have anything to do with the lackluster game that came out? This is going nowhere. I'm gonna cut this one.
The hunt for Golem. Just looked it up. Looks like it says it's a 2009 action adventure. Hold up, let's find something that's an article. Okay, The Hunt for Golem.
New movie.
He's preparing to unleash
these days are we hunting for Golem? There's a new movie? I think I know what you're talking about. I think I might have loosely heard something about this. We either get hands with no lands or all the lands. This is crazy. Yeah. We've got Mind Goblin here with no lands. That's cool.
Mind Goblin is a Seething Song, by the way. Like, it will 99% of the time function as Seething Song. Sometimes function as I think 6 mana.
Huh. We've got a Mirror Pool hand. This is cute. Mizzix Mastery, Prismatic Vista, all the lands. Not worth it. There's a new LOTR movie for 2026, I think.
Neat.
I like it. This flare is the new copy flare, by the way.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to get one more good test round in with you all, and then I think we can sort of determine how we feel about this list. It's just these are hands I would be mulling down to like 4 cards. This is insane.
Yeah.
Alright, we have a turn 1 Bergie here, and a Spiteful Banditry to boot. And we'll need the Banditry, honestly. Alright.
I think also cutting the bad fork effects for the better forks is probably worth doing it. Like, caring about mana is not as important as caring about reliability, as we saw from that one game.
Yeah, we definitely want more draw utilities like Demand Answers as well. I think we need more draw effects. Alright, so we've got Bergie. And what else do we want to do? Do we just want to play our commander? So we have Deflecting Spot online, minimally?
Yeah, playing our commander and floating red mana seems good.
Can we do this by playing Demand Answers as well? Generate a mana off Bergie? Hold up. If we did City of Traders. No, that's just stupid. Wait, if we did City of Traders. No. We need the double red. Okay, so if we did this, we generate a red for this, so it's like net 1 mana. We've got a generic floating. Yeah, we could do Demand Answers before we do that. I'll ditch the City of Traders and then draw 2 cards. And then I'll use the remainder of my mana to cast Ashling. And then whenever I cast a spell, you add red, so we've just got a red floating after the fact. So we've got D-SWAT available. This is not bad. I like that exchange. Alright, next turn. We have Electro Dominance, Spiteful Banditry, Finale of Promise, Deflecting SWAT.
Wait, did you... so for the Demand Answers, I don't think you could have cast that and Ashling, because we had 4 mana, then you paid 2 of it, got 1 red back, and then cast Ashling for 3.
Wait. No, so I did this and this. I have 1 generic floating.
So yeah, it's Mana Crypt and 2 mountains. So that's 4 mana. Then we used 1 generic and 1 red, and then
Oh,
we
you're right.
cast,
You're right. You're right.
yeah,
You're right. You're right.
we can cast Ashling and then float the red off of Berkey though, and then we'll have a 5 mana next turn, and we can do demand answers like on upkeep before everything, just to say.
I think it's the same amount of cards. Right. So we'll do the demand answers now. We'll do it the same way as we did earlier. And then we pull into Electro Dominance this way instead. And we did that with the 1 red floating. And let's just say Mana Crypt. Okay. So we have a generic floating. With Mind Goblin, you only guarantee 4 mana from the ability. You are likely to have 5, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay. It was the other way around. I never use it. I do not know.
Windfall is no good card in hand. Maybe Wheel of Misfortune. Maybe Wheel of Misfortune, genuinely. Yeah. Honestly, I think Wheel of Misfortune would be good. I might want to add that before we continue. Do we have enough mana to play an equipped Sword of Wealth and Power? We've got a generic floating. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, and then we get an additional, so that's the 5. Yeah, that's exactly enough. So we'll do the generic, the red we had floating, and then this mountain here. Bergy trigger, we'll use the red and the additional to equip Sword of Wealth and Power to Ashling. And then I think Ashling is just going to swing along a ding-dong. Am I wrong?
You are correct.
We create a treasure token for this. And the next instant sorcery spell you cast this turn. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We get a treasure, though.
Yep.
And frankly, treasures are way better if we break them and float the red. So we don't give opposing dock sides anything to do with them.
I mean, we can just hold them up and then crack them at instant speed in response. So I think we keep them as is, but it doesn't really matter.
I just want to point that out because we're gonna likely crack this if need be for whatever reason. All right, next turn. All right, well, we've got a mountain for turn. We have Finale of Promise, Deflecting Swat, Pyretic Ritual, yada yada yada. We don't have a copy effects accessible. Do we want to just go for our demand answers from our grave? God.
I mean, it's not the worst. I don't think we need the mana off of Spiteful Banditry. I think Spiteful Banditry is just going to be a board wipe. So yeah, I think just going for demand answers is fine.
Do we go for demand answers by using Pyretic Ritual into Finale of Promise, duplicating it off of Sword of Wealth and Power?
Duplicating Finale off of Sword and Wealth and Power won't work because we're gonna have to exile a different thing from Graveyard.
No, I mean, like, we want to double down on Pyretic Ritual and then cast.
I like that. I like that.
So I'm going to attack with Ashling. We're going to hopefully hit someone. Again, the protection's a little awkward because it's not letting us get through blocks because it's instant and sorceries, but otherwise Ashling is pretty solid.
Ashling is a 6/6.
Yeah,
it's getting through.
So we're going to hit, and we're going to generate another treasure. So we'll just do that now. And we get to copy our next spell. So I'm going to cast Floating 1 generic, Pyretic Ritual with one of the floating red mana. I'm just going to leave this tapped for now so we know that. We get 2 copies of it, so technically we have 6 floating shit. So, I mean, 1, 2, here. You guys can't see this, but I've got a marker here for these. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 mana. Let's go Finale of Promise. I mean, so actually we technically have 8 floating because we just cast a spell in Bergy.
True, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to go 10 in here? Exile said if you have 10 or more, copy those spells twice. I mean, yeah, I think we try to go 10 into this.
Yeah, because that's going to be sacrificing a treasure or discarding the heat hook, and then we get a lot of mana. Yeah, it kind of pays for itself.
Ashling trigger from ritual cast and copy. So yes, 2 damage. So we're very close to just getting 4 additional red mana. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
and
right.
I think we're casting the copies, so we get a couple Berkey triggers off of one casting a finale and casting the 2 cards in graveyard.
Yeah.
And then
I think let's dig deep then. So we're gonna.
oh, also we haven't been doing discard draw off of Ashling.
You're absolutely right.
That
That's
oh my gosh, that would have changed
it's
last game so hard.
yeah. No, I realize that now too. We're how deep into this? Just 2, right?
So ritual and the looting effect that we did, and then finale just now.
Ritual, looting effect, and finale just now. So I'm gonna ditch the lightning bolt. Actually, I'll ditch the spiteful banisher at this point.
Yeah,
and I get a mountain. Okay, so we are going to. Maybe I should have kept the ancient tomb, but that's okay. I'll play the mountain. Do 1, 2, 8.
We don't have mana problems. We don't have any mana
10.
problems.
Yeah, we're gonna cast Finale of Promise. Wait, so I did the loot for Finale of Promise then. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Finale of Promise. We generate 1 red mana off of Bergie when we cast this spell. We cast this for X equals 10. We are going to copy from our graveyard, I guess the Pyretic Ritual and then the Demand Answers.
Yep. And I'm checking the exact wording on finale right now.
Right. So I can read it off for us. You may cast up to 1 target insert sorcery card from your graveyard. Oh, sorry, it's just a 1. Yeah. If you cast a spell, it would be put into graveyard, exile instead. If X is 10 or more, copy each of those twice. You may choose new targets for the copy. If a spell was cast, right? So, thank you. I thought it was up to 1 target instant and or up to 1 target sorcery card. So we get to copy a sorcery card as well. That's how you duplicate it. I don't think there's a sorcery in our graveyard, sadly, and I think there's only.
Yeah, we don't need to do sorcery here. We can just do. Let's see. Is it Demand Answers? It's probably Demand Answers, and then with the 2 copies of Demand Answers, we actually, did we discard a sorcery at any point?
No,
we did not. Dang. Yeah, with Demand Answers, we're going to get 2 copies on the stack, which is 2 Ashling triggers, which is going to give us the 4 mana. And It's going to give us the 4 mana, and we're going to rummage twice, and then we're going to get the I'm gonna discard one card.
Right, so to start, we're going to put this on the stack. We copy it twice.
Do we sack Mana Crypt? Do we sack Mana Crypt at this point?
We probably could. Yeah, I think we do. I think we sacrifice Mana Crypt as the additional cost. We'll just do that. That's fair. And we only need to do that once, by the way. Okay, so we get this twice.
Yeah, so we rummage twice, and then we get.
Well, no, we rummage. We copy each of the spells twice. Oh, okay. So it's the. You may cast up to 1 answer sorcery card from your graveyard, X or less. If the spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. If X is 10 or more, copy each of those spells twice. I think we get 3 copies of this.
Yeah, it's 3, which means that we're rummaging 3 times, and we're getting 1 Bergie trigger off of casting the initial.
Right, so we're going to do that, but we also have the Ashling trigger, so we go up by 4. So we have 6 mana floating, and we get to draw 2, 4, 6 cards.
Yep.
Accurate?
Yep.
Okay, but
that is
we're
correct.
Also going to resolve these in order now. So let's discard. Combo turns seem pretty complicated for Ashling. Yeah. Okay, so we're copying a spell. We're going to discard a lightning bolt to draw a card. Do we do that before? Wait, do we do that before? Whenever you cast or copy instant or sorcery spell. No, we do that before we even resolve these. So we're going to discard. Do we keep the Imperial Recruiter, by the way?
So we're discarding and drawing, but we sacked the crypt for the cantrip that we have on the stack.
Demand Answers,
Yeah, so for the Demand Answers, we sacked the thing, and we're not casting the copies, we're just copying the spell twice.
Yeah,
so
but whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, discard a card, then draw a card. So we're going to do this before any of these resolve, is what I'm saying.
Correct. We rummage before we Demand Answers.
So we have to discard draw 2 more times, and I'm asking, do we keep Imperial Recruiter or Deflecting Swat?
We don't need mana. Imp Recruiter can go.
All right, Isochron Scepter or Deflecting Swat. probably Isochron Scepter.
Actually, so Imperial Recruiter finds Dual Caster Mage. If
I was
go for that.
thinking that, but it's like we're trying to luck into a solution here. We don't need mana. I agree with you on that, but Dual Caster Mage is the only other like potential. It's fine. We're gonna probably regret it. I'm gonna ditch the Isochron Scepter and draw a card. Barbarian Ring.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so we're gonna draw 2 cards. We're gonna draw 2 cards.
Then draw 2 cards.
And
then draw 2 cards.
And of course we got Heat Shimmer. Okay. So of course there's Heat Shimmer. By the way, the card that we copied, the Demand Answers, it gets exiled, so that's over there. You should have 3 extra cards in hand. You discarded an extra card when you did Ashling Rummage before Finale. I think you're right, and the extra card I discarded was potentially Lightning Bolt. So technically,
we can say we could keep Imperial Recruiter in hand off of that because we would have kept that if that was what we had left.
Okay, so we have 6 mana Floating Will. What do you want to do? I think we start with the Chrome Mox, generate a mana, and then we'll ditch the, at this point, honestly, which is the worst of these two? Twinferno or Dual Strike? Okay. Exile that. Okay, now we'll cast, I'm just going to go down by 2 because we go up by 1. Imperial Recruiter. If this is good, we're going to get Dual Caster Mage. Let's just say we had to use Deflecting Swat there for whatever reason. This is they're electing to try to stop us here. We go up 1 mana. And by the way, every single time we do this, we need to... That was 1 instant and or sorcery spell, right? So we discard a card, draw a card. We have Fury Storm. Well, fuck it. I mean, I've got 2 options now. This is a little much. This is a lot. I'm not going to lie. Ashling's got a lot going for her. But technically we have a win here. We have 7 mana. Whatever we cast next was going to produce 1 more mana. So even if we were shy, we were getting there. I think it's pretty clean to just do Fury Storm at this point. Or it's pretty clean to just do Heat Shimmer, Dual Caster Mage. Will, what do you want to do?
So how much mana do we have floating right now? And
6. Actually, sorry, so you can't see it. There's 6 floating, and then this 1 Chrome Mox.
Yeah, so we have up to 7. So if we cast Fury Storm, we go down to 3, then up to 4. And dang, we can't do Heat Shimmer and Fury Storm. I was seeing if we had a safety. I think we just go for Fury Storm now because worst case scenario.
Like, Heat Shimmer into Imperial Recruiter doesn't feel bad either. Like, just Heat Shimmer, Imperial Recruiter, and if push comes to shove, we just get like a Dockside or something and then go hard.
Yeah, I think Fury Storm's just the easiest option, and we can't use the line that I said before because we don't have the ability to trigger Ashling again. However, that doesn't really matter because we will have enough cards in hand that we can get there. So, yeah, I think it's just Fury Storm and we just say GG, we got there.
Right, and now we have a Chaos Warp. I don't even know how I want to do this. I mean, we could technically just like...
we cast Meltdown X equals 0, and then we copy that with a Fury Storm. We have to have a thing to copy.
Right. Thanks. So that's like net neutral there. Bergie, we would still have 3 in the reserve after all is said and done. And then the Chrome Mox. Okay.
And then we do the thing, draw through our deck, find the win, good game.
Okay. And just to explain what the win is, I mean, there's a couple ways we can do this, but how would you want to conclude this game? If not, just Dual Caster Mage and Heat Shimmer.
Yeah, what we can do is we can do that whole Calamities, Invoke Calamity thing that I talked about before we demonstrated on the previous game, but we just use a ritual to get a bit more mana instead of doing the Ashling trigger, because we just need enough mana to cast Calamity, Invoke Calamity. So Seething Song does it, I think. So
if those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. Exile Invoke Calamity. You may cast up to 2 instant sorcery spells with mana value of 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana cost.
Yep, and we just use that cast bonus round, cast Seething Song again from our graveyard, and then we do the thing using cantrips to double up our cantrips and keep drawing, using rituals to double up our rituals, and save a bunch of mana. Then we just cast Lightning Bolt 2 million times per game.
Right. Along the way, we'll need to like draw cards to supplement the cards we're losing. But
which is what the cantrips are for, because Expedite becomes 1 mana and 1 card draw 2 at this point, which means that we're going up cards from doing stuff like Expedite.
Don't you only need 1 mana here because casting Bolt nets you a mana with Burgi?
Yeah, you can. Well, you need to get cards back in hand is the issue. So you need, every time that you cast Bolt, you go down 1 card in hand, and eventually you're going to run out of cards in hand. So you do need to refill your hand. Now you see, Mateus, the reason why not play Stella Lee is because mono red fun.
Yeah, and I have a headache after this. Oh, going down in cards in hand. Yeah, we do go down in cards in hand. So that's the thing. When you cast the Bolt, that's not the end of the story, right? So we could technically just loop through our list to make infinite mana, and then I think we would want to do like a reverberated buyback for Lightning Bolt. I think that's cleaner.
Yeah, we have
not reiterate
buyback. We can just do reiterate loops as well. That's a definite thing that we're able to do, because if we do the bonus round thing, I think we're just off from being able to do a loop with a Pyretic Ritual, but we can copy Seething Song with a reiterate over and over and over again for infinite mana.
Are there benefits to playing Ashling over a Stella Lee? That's not a bad question.
So Stella Lee is probably better. Stella Lee is just so gross and has so many 1-card combos. Ashling is more fun. Ashling will probably be able to be a bit more resilient than Stella Lee and play the long game a tiny bit better, but Stella Lee is just... Stella Lee's broken. I don't think anything really beats Stella Lee if you want to go for like 2-card combos / 1-card combos with your commander. I'm almost of the opinion that it's like, why play Blue Farm when Stella Lee exists? The only reason is you can play white and black, but Stella Lee's so gross. I cannot wait to play that deck. I'm waiting for a couple cards to come in the mail, and then I'll have that deck up and ready.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But so far as Ashling Flame Dancer is concerned, and, you know, the thing is, you can say that of pretty much any legendary. Like, take your pick. There's always going to be something better than another. I think it's going to come down to personal preference more than anything. I mean, when I look at playing any TCG, I usually play off-meta shit all the time. So it's really just what tickles my fancy more than anything else. Not to bring up One Piece during a Magic stream, but like I have a tournament this weekend and I'm probably going to bring something extremely off-meta. I've been practicing a bunch of like top-tiered lists, but I just don't find them interesting to play. So something like a Ashling is really fun to honestly bring to the table because it's doing a lot of things that people don't expect, but damn, was that mind melting. My brain hurts. Yeah. I need Advil right now. Telegraphed 3 miles away with the Stella is a glass cannon. I mean, if she's on the battlefield, you know it's going to be difficult. You know it's going to be bad. It's not, I mean, it's any, I don't know, like any major play that happens repeatedly is kind of telegraphed. If I see you cast Thassa's Oracle, I'm pretty sure I know what you're doing next, right? It's usually fair to assume what someone will do off of 1 to 2 cards. So Stella Lee just having a time counter on her, I mean, you don't have to win the game when you're doing the setup, right? Like you're just getting there. I like Ashling. I think this list is solid. I think it's good in mono red, so far as mono red is concerned. I still think Zada and Godo are viable options if you're looking to play mono red in a competitive setting.
And Magda. Can't hate on Magda.
Can't hate on Magda, so she's fine.
She got so much better. She got so much better with Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Fallout because you got a, what is it called, like Hell Blast and Bottle Cap Blast.
Stella needs a turn. Oh, we're talking about her so much.
Yeah, well, Stella needs a turn, but you can also give Stella haste with the red cantrips, but most commanders need a turn of setup for whatever they want to do. Also, Stella Lee's your draw engine on top of your combo engine. Like,
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah,
interesting. It's Stella. So that, I guess that's one benefit. Ashling can win on the turn she comes out
yeah, yeah,
without
yeah,
the need of a haste enabling card, right? So,
yeah. My thing is, I think a lot of the problems with Stella are people are piloting Stella wrong because so many people try to just go for the nuts with Stella, but half the reason why you play Stella Lee is because you have like 10 instant speed combos that you can do on other people's turns. So I'm a strong advocate of just hold up all of your interaction with Stella Lee. Also, people aren't running what is it called? I think it's Fuse and Jolt. I can quickly look this up,
mm.
which I think is kind of a mistake. So Stella Lee. Uh there are two cards that a lot of people aren't running, and it's actually there's three things. One, people aren't running Toils of Night and Day, people aren't running Jolt, and people aren't running Infuse. And there's decent reason why. Uh Infuse and Jolt are the same card. They just say untap target thing and then draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. And Toils of Night and Day is untap or tap two target permanents. The reason why you should be running these is because untap effects are functionally counterspells in Stella Lee. Because if you try to use the wisps and somebody tries to blow up your or counterspell your wisps or blow up Stella Lee in response to tapping Stella Lee, you use any of your other untap effects to untap Stella Lee, tap her again, and then combo off on top of people trying to interact with you. So all of these things that are other infinite combo cards with Stella Lee are also interaction with Stella Lee. So you can kind of just go off on top of them by using another combo card. I feel like a lot of Stella Lee's problems are just people are being
Piloting
greedy when piloting Stella Lee.
that's fair. But
Yeah.
guys, not to detour too far from Ashling. I do think Ashling's pretty solid. I think having more colors is more good in most cases. Wisp is now a $7 card. Amazing. Don't want to hear that. But guys, if you
Yeah.
enjoyed this deck tech, what I'll encourage you to do is leave it with a like. I'm gonna need to grab some Advil in a second. For some reason, my brain is just hurting. It's this headset really. It's so damn tight on my head. But guys, if there's any other legendary from Modern Horizons you want to touch on, like Eladamri, let us know. There's a lot of really cool monocolored legendaries that have come out from this set, and like to include Pearlier that we just covered. I think Ashling's a little bit better than Pearlier, and I think Eladamri might be the best of the lot, but we won't know until next. Well, that's not true. Not next week. I'm going to be out of town. I'll be in Boston. Could I do this remotely? Not
Maybe.
very well. We could have a very shoddy looking stream remotely. We'll see. But we might do that next week. In any case, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with us. Will, any other thoughts before we close this one?
If you like this deck, if you want to pick up any of these cards, use our TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below. If you want to brew your own Ashling deck or Stella Lee or whatever else you want from Modern Horizons 3, let us know on our Discord. You can brag that you built a better deck than us there. And look forward to more Modern Horizons 3 content and coverage.
A bit off topic, but do you think Chisgoria could be viable as hard stacks prison deck?
What is Chisgoria? Give me is that that's not a One Piece thing, right?
No. Chisgoria. That's like the old. Do you remember like the Mirrodin cards, like the scale and
the Affinity Dragon, right?
Right. I think this is a new thing. But I remember like the tooth and the scale ages ago. But I to be honest, I wasn't aware of that they made a card for Chisgoria finally. This it really went over my head. But we can look at this before we close this one out. Chisgoria, Forged Tyrant, affinity for artifacts, flying haste. Whenever Chisgoria attacks, exile top 5 cards of your library. You may cast an artifact spell from among them this turn. If you do, it has affinity for artifacts. It's going to be a little slow. 9 is a really high cost, but I mean,
Yeah.
1 dockside gets you pretty close, right? Joined in too late. Have a good one, everyone. That's okay. Monster Hunter 3 will be the first Magic I will purchase since Monster Hunter 2. No shit. You're not kidding, Grizzly. That's crazy. I played Chiscoria and Magda. It came out with all will be one. Yeah, I can't believe I missed this, man. This is so cool. I love that Chiscoria is a card now. I remember like looking at these and I'm like, oh shit, these are things I can use in Teshar. Maybe like potential zero cost artifacts in Teshar, but I never did. Although I'm not gonna lie, scale was like a potential viable option because the benefit of having like plus defense was enough for Teshar. Teshar is so freaking weak. Like a 2/2 bird.
Yeah,
it's not very good. So honestly, the scale
dies to everything but to a squirrel.
I have a high powered Chiscoria, and I think it might be fringe possible. Anything's fringe playable. I think you could probably play it if you wanted to.
I will say, replace your Chiscoria deck with what's his name that got I think leaked. Let me find him really quick. I mentioned him earlier as a card that's relevant. Replace Chiscoria with Imsker, which is the Affinity Rakdos guy. That's ETB, draw equal to half the number of artifacts you control and lose that much life, and you can sacrifice artifacts to deal burn damage to players, or to any target, not just players. Builds him as a commander, because he does what you want off Chiscoria, but also gives you access to black.
I'm trying to find it so I can put it on the screen, but I can't find it.
It's a leaked card. You can probably find it on.
I've still got the thing up. I'm just not seeing it. But yeah,
it's right next to 6. If you find 6, you found Imskri or Imsker.
New Obosh. There you go. All right, guys. See you in the next one, and hopefully it'll be next week. But I'll let you guys know in the Discord. Ooh, brain. My brain will.